Are you ready to unleash your creative razzle-dazzle? Then join the Canary Cry new stock producers and make some refrigerator art for the show. Show your support with your talent at canarycry.party. Your mom will thank you.
Razzle Dazzle. It's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary Cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye, VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry New Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Goms.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype Flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
Okay, everybody, here we are. We're ready to do the show. We're doing it. But a reminder first, many of you, hundreds of you out there are receiving a text message from me right now. It's rolling in, and it's reminding you to join the show. So welcome, text message receivers. You can receive a text message from us as well. We send out a message just before every show, every week. Right now, that's been 2 texts a week. Just giving you a heads up so you don't miss a live show. All you gotta do is super easy. All you gotta do is text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. Again, that's Canary to 877-740-3226. And don't worry, we don't take your name, which ends up with hilarious results, by the way, but we don't take your name, we don't take your data, we got nothing to sell. It's just getting a message from us 2 or 3 times a week. You can text me back. I personally put my old razzle dazzle on every single text that goes out, and you can text me back and I will read the text that you sent. I cannot carry on the conversation with you because it's incredibly expensive for us. But we had some people respond to the text messages today. Someone who is so good at sending us uplifting verses and stuff sent a couple texts. This is Psalm 138, 3, 6, and 8. Says, when I called you and you answered me, you emboldened me in my soul with strength. Though Yahweh is high, yet he sees the lowly, but the proud he perceives at a distance. Yahweh accomplishes things for my benefit. O Yahweh, your loyal love endures forever. Do not abandon the works of your hands. Thank you very much for that one. And then there was another one that came in. This is Psalm 139, 23 through 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts, and see if there is in me the worship of false gods, and lead me in the way everlasting. That's a good way to start the show. Goodness gracious, Lord, search us all for these anxious thoughts, and see if there's any worship of false gods. You know, that's an interesting piece of scripture there that sort of recognizes that we as human beings can sort of get in the habit of worshiping things, false gods, on accident without even knowing about it. Somebody sent a message, just says, hey. Well, hey, right back at you. The texts are rolling in. Good afternoon, Canary fam. God bless. Well, God bless you. We got a happy Monday. We got I like pants. Somebody is just letting us know they like pants. Somebody says, thank you, Mr. Googly Eyes. Let me scroll down here. Somebody just sent me an address with no name. If that was you, I'm sure you're giving me that address for a good reason. Email it to us, please. canarycryradio@gmail.com. Let's see here. Somebody, what does this say? Oh, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to read it. We cordially, please pray for my business. These liberals. Oh, this is the guy who is being villainized by liberals in his town for his business. Okay, this is a long one, so here we go. We cordially request your continued support in prayer for our business as we navigate our upcoming court hearing. Unfortunately, we find ourselves faced with false accusations regarding our actions. Okay, this is serious business, folks. Nevertheless, rest assured that we possess solid evidence demonstrating our unwavering commitment to assisting others and conducting ourselves with utmost integrity. It is truly disheartening to witness the fabrication of claims aimed at causing harm. From the very beginning of our venture, we have remained resolute in our dedication. Additionally, I have faithfully served a long-standing member and producer of your ministry for several years, so much that I am sure I should have gotten a knighthood, but I don't do recognition. I do it so I can produce. It'll help support and what I know is a good cause. Moreover, I must share that I have been falsely accused in my personal life as well. Whoa, bro, having a whole scene here. I am well aware that the enemy is launching a full-scale attack against me. It has been challenging as I strive to avoid falling into sin, especially here in Eastern Canada, where the situation has reached its lowest point. I am in dire need of assistance. I implore you in the name of Jesus, please help. Sincerely, Goldman, a fellow Canarian. Okay, Goldman, holy smokes. It sounds like while the details of our situation are much different, but the feeling of absolute helplessness in the full-scale attack by the enemy, I'm glad that somebody else out there can relate with that, and I know there are more. Okay, so Canarians, this is the whole point. We are continuing to pray for each other at all times. The world as a whole and the personal lives of each and every one of us is chock-a-block full with secret battles that are going on, that us as a family around the world, we need to come together, pray for each other. If not now, when? Now is the time. This is all that matters at this point, and we are called to endure these times. So, today we did not have a pre-show prayer sent in, so I think I'm just going to say a little prayer before the show, and then we'll get started. Lord, we submit to the sovereignty of God over our lives, this show, and the world. We lean directly on our Father in heaven to endure the trials of this world, and we commit ourselves to endure the tribulation that God sovereignly allows. We pray unimaginable blessings over the show, over ourselves, every producer, every listener, and we all rest peacefully in the knowledge that God's favor for us as his children outweighs any favor man could have for us. We pray protection over the Canarium and all of its members, and we take shelter in the shadow of your wings. We pray the blood of Jesus over our lives so that any spirit or principality or power, adversarial beings to God's will in our lives is evicted, exterminated, or repelled. We are grateful for our opportunity, Lord, to come under the authority of you, our Father in heaven, and pray for supernatural peace, prosperity, and joy beyond understanding. In the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen, everybody. Okay, let's get this show started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is May 20th, 2024. We are live to tape on episode 742. And today, green fireballs. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the land of New Scum, to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's immersion phenomenon, it's vert in French, grün in German, verde in Italian and Spanish, midori in Japanese. You know what it is, Basil?
We're going green, baby.
We're going green. We're buying in.
Going
We're
green.
buying into the whole green movement, folks. We're doing it. It took us a few years.
It was really just the Spanish and Italian one that gave it to me. That was the giveaway. Yeah, interesting. And in some cases, it's green with an E at the end. It's
yeah.
Do you think if it was, if they're talking about old MTG over in Japan, would they say Green as her last name, or would they say whatever the heck you just said?
Midori? They probably say, because it's an English name. It's
okay.
Although Marjorie might be a tough one for the Japanese folks. Marjorie. Marjorie. It's okay, folks.
International. We are international men of mystery around here. Well, thank you very much, Gans. The weekend sure had a theme, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It was very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll just hit that disclaimer and get started with the show. What do you say?
Okay, let's disclaim.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
That's right. And let me give you a rundown.
Oh, yes, rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
All right, folks, we're starting out with a rumble in the jungle. Congress once again blowing up with the most exciting kayfabe that the country could possibly handle right now. MTGVAOC Fight Night. We're, of course, going to have to talk about the brawl, the verbal brawl in Congress over the week, which actually was 1v1v1. It wasn't even just two. It was a rumble for sure. We'll be checking in with that. And how does that connect across the board? Very interesting analysis and deconstruction of the mainstream corporate media's handling of that story. And then, just to round it all off, we got green fireballs falling from the sky over there in Portugal. And surely these two things are connected. Couldn't imagine it any other way. Then Flippy in space. That's right. We got another Flippy robotic arm in space, helping astronauts recover from embarrassing falls. Don't worry, astronauts. No more humiliation as you bounce around on your cable suspension system on the moon. Then, man, oh man, lots of things happening. Fireballs in the sky, fireballs on the street. We've got Iran's President Raisi killed in a helicopter crash. Some responses to that, the investigations, the civilian reporting. What is that all about? And then, of course, not to be outshined by the Slovakian prime minister gunned down in politically motivated attack. I'll tell you what, both of these leaders had something in common. Do you think you could guess what it is? Then at the end of the show, we're finally going to give bird flu the credit it deserves. But first, Gans, our lead story.
Poly. It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Politics.
So you see, I also call myself a Christian nationalist. And that's not a bad word.
Wash your mouth out with soap.
Your dirty mouth needs a bath.
The race wars.
Race wars? Race war.
I've warned you and warned you and warned you.
Man.
All right, Gans, before we jump right in and get started, we are getting some messages from the chat that Basil's audio is super low, which is interesting because we were just playing with this before. I am going to inch up the gain.
I just turned you up
or two.
I just turned you up in the StreamYard, so
okay.
I pumped you in the StreamYard, so
I won't touch the gain then. and it is up to chat to let us know.
Yes,
if the
let us know.
volume is better. Okay.
Yep.
Man, oh man. Okay, let's just start out by saying that a big part of our job, and maybe one of the more difficult parts of our job, is sifting through the news in a way that does not just make us another purveyor of distraction. This is the hard part, because especially when you examine the material covered on every other single podcast that talks about these types of things, you can very clearly see when something is a distraction not worth touching on. Some people still would prefer that we touch on it. And so it's a constant battle for us, Gons, to make the choices. What do we, because we've also been exploring the concept that whoever is pulling the strings of mainstream media has an easy back door to controlling alternative or independent media as well. They are in a dance with one another. And when alt media, independent media, corporate media are all ultimately being manipulated by the same forces, then what's the point? So this was very easily going to be one of the things that we would have, on principle, felt it was our duty to ignore. But there were some details on top of that which I think are very telling. So why don't you introduce tonight's big fight, and while everybody is closing their bets with their bookies, we can see how this turned out.
Sure. Yeah, well, the way it was reported on MSNBC was the crucial moment when Rep. Crocket and MTG's heated exchange you didn't see. But there's parts of this, apparently, that we didn't see. We'll get back to that. But let's just play the clip, Basil. I guess that's the best thing to do, because I know everyone's probably seen it, but, you know, maybe some people haven't. And it's 3 minutes of where we are in America. If you've been sleeping under a rock for about 2 years and you woke up today, you were in a coma or something, and you're like, oh, what's going on? How's the state of the country? This clip will just let you know everything you need to know. So
yes, and the participants in this scene are perfectly cast for this situation. Not even the ones that are directly related, but even the side characters. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an incredible scene being displayed to the public here. And then there's some commentary later on that I think maybe is saying the quiet part out loud. I don't know. But just sit back and enjoy. There is one small no word later
oh, yeah,
on.
that's right. Yeah, the poop word. Actually, you know, that word's in the Bible, technically, if there's a modern translation.
It's a no-no word.
Could be
I'm
argued that could be in the Bible.
Just disclaiming, because
okay,
we have
yeah.
children who listen to the show. We
Yes.
have parents who show it to their children. And we were unable to tease out this one little no-no word. And so perhaps it's a teaching opportunity to make sure that they, you know, whoever knows what is a good word to use, what is a bad word to use, and more importantly, the context in which you use these words. And on the floor of Congress, this probably counts as a no-no word.
Right. So you're going to hear three voices. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene. It is AOC, I think is the first counter voice you hear. And then Representative Crocket is the third voice. So here we go. You ready, Basil? You strapped in? This is
I'm here. I'm
America
ready.
2024.
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh, Goldman. That's right. He's advising. Okay.
He's advising who? What? Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about
just
AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath
would
even
you please regain the order of your committee?
Order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Greene's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play,
Baby girl, I don't think
we are gonna move and we're gonna take your words down.
I second that motion.
So who will have to pay us? Okay. Ms. Greene agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
needs to
recognizes-
apologize. No. She
Perry,
needs to
okay,
apologize.
hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Greene
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then you're not striking your words.
I am
You're
not
retracting.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the minority.
pretty self-evident.
You're not.
Yeah, you're
out
not.
of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd like to strike
I move to
those
strike the
words
lady's
as well.
words.
I would like order.
The lady's words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the
There's
words.
another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right.
get
Okay.
your members under
Here's the
control.
correct priority. Ms. Greene, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll
All
strike
right.
my words,
That-
but I'm not
all right.
apologizing.
Without objection. Without
Not
objection.
apologizing.
21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Who's?
It's me.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
I'm
parliament.
trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike
I had no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do
Y'all did
it.
it first, so you
You
don't
just
wanna talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down. Calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
through proceeding.
So I'm trying
Hey,
to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
Y'all wanna
recognized.
play
Ms.
games.
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can
no,
you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise,
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
outside to
shit
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a
Mr.
problem.
Chairman, Mr.
Order.
Chairman.
All right, Chair.
I don't know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now.
that.
Oh, there it is. You know what sounds really good about now to help us govern this country?
Artificial intelligence.
Hey, that's not a bad point. This could be a data point to put robots in charge of Congress.
Yeah. I mean, it would keep things at least in order, Basil. People won't be able to talk over each other.
Well, I move to have your words stricken from the. Well, I move to have your words stricken from the record.
Artificial intelligence.
Madness,
Can help.
absolute madness. Maybe we've had some fun things happen in Congress the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Little dramatizations play out on various different scales. We've had fights threaten to break out or whatever. But this is really sort of next level. It's so obviously immature. It's so obviously, high school student council. It's so obviously, and unfortunately, the way that the media has sort of trained everybody to perceive things, it's so obviously usable to apply broader problems, as we will see, things like racism, sexism, these types of issues that so easily can get painted on this, depending who is, doing the painting. But some real classics in there. I mean,
Baby girl is going down. That's somebody. I'm sure that's like a meme token or something.
Baby girl is definitely going to be an ISO for this show.
For a lot of shows,
the various women describing each other's physical appearance. I mean, brutal, just absolute brutality going on here. And, in the midst of it, the dudes, everyone else, just like, I have no idea what you just said.
Well, I think it speaks to a generational gap, age gap, all kinds of stuff, culture gap. But, it's, hey, at least we're on the map now. We've watched other countries and their governments get all into it and yelling at each other.
Yeah, Taiwan
Taiwan
just had
UK.
a congressman snatch the bill that was being voted on and ran out the door and stole it. He stole the bill on theft or something like that. It's very funny. But I mean, this kind of thing is breaking out across the world.
It's the breakdown, man. It's part of the Great Reset, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, the New World Order. You have to, that's the one thing that's been missing from the whole New World Order argument until COVID, really. COVID sort of broke open the egg, so to speak. But it's been that hard shifting and changing of everything. And this type of stuff, legacy type of governments, take a long time to fall apart and, you know, maybe not in smaller countries, but a country as powerful as the U.S., takes a little while for it to, it's a slow crashing ship or whatever you call it.
There's a lot of interests, a lot of very powerful interests at play that, you know, that gain specifically from the slow descent.
Right.
You know, like they have things to gain by the slow motion destruction of the empire. It's not that they maybe necessarily want it to explode tomorrow, but as long as it's this slow moving, predictable disintegration of a legacy government like ours, you know, you can predict the ways in which you can, you know, basically siphon all possible resources away from the government. No, everybody's paying attention to this rather than, you know, who's getting the no bid contracts, who's now, just as a quick explainer for the front of it, because context is very difficult to find in this particular instance. MTG was asking about Judge Juan Merchan's daughter, and this has come up in connection with the hush money case with Stormy Daniels with Trump in New York, because there is, I think, fairly credible research from what I can tell. It doesn't seem like a conspiracy theory. It seems pretty straightforward, that, what is her name? Lauren Merchan is a Democrat. I think she's an executive of some kind, but she's a fundraiser. She's a fundraiser for the Democratic Party. And the idea is that she's using Trump's hush money case as a fundraising opportunity or fundraising tool. And so I think MTG asking, hey, who employs Judge Merchan's daughter? Meaning, hey, Democrats, which one of you is benefiting materially, financially from the hush money case with Trump?
Okay, so that's how the whole situation started, and then it got into.
Yeah. Here's a quote. I believe this is from Trump. I think it's from Trump, somebody on Trump's side. Quote, his daughter is a senior executive at a super liberal Democrat firm that works for Democratic California Representative Adam Shifty Schiff, the Democrat National Committee, Dem Senate Majority PAC, and even crooked Joe Biden. So fairly connected fundraiser for basically the entire Democrat Party. And I imagine, you know, if somebody calls out your master fundraiser who is keeping this, admittedly, from both sides, everybody said, even CNN has said that the hush money trial is basically a politically motivated scam trial. But then, to be called out, hey, who here is actually making the money? I think maybe based on the responses from certain Democrats, I think we know who is benefiting from Judge Merchan's daughter, because what was actually genius here, you might think like, oh, this makes Crocker look, or what, Crocket? This makes Crocket look bad. It makes AOC look bad. Of course, it makes MTG look bad. But in the end, it was an immediate distraction, a powerful distraction from somebody having to answer the question, hey, are you employing Judge Merchan's daughter? Are you lining your coffers based on the scam trial? You know, it's a pretty big question. It's a pretty important question too, for all sorts of reasons. But breaking out into a just crazy Jerry Springer nonsense show is a great way to distract from that becoming sort of more publicly known.
Yeah. Well, we know that it's funny because we have this big public moment, and then the players all get to go to their corners and sort of ruminate as to what happened and report on their people, so to speak. And so you have alt media, more or less. I don't know. I've seen a lot of sentiments from alt media, but they're kind of defending the MTG side of the argument, if there is even a divisive side of the argument. But clearly on the mainstream side, and maybe it's invoked by the mainstream, we have the article here that we had up from MSNBC titled "The Crucial Moment from Rep Crocket and MTG's Heated Exchange You Didn't See." So this is MSNBC. This is Ali Velshi doing the anchoring here. And let's see what they have to say. This is the one thing I forgot to do, Basil, is set up the proper viewing situation for the third camera, which I don't have ready here, which is going to be a problem.
Proper viewing. That's okay.
Yeah.
Going through the chat and picking out some good comments by people, so everybody can just pay attention to the chat I'm putting up while you have some sort of crazy
this might work.
Transformer-esque madness flipping things
this
around
works,
on screen.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. So here it is. Ali Velshi, and reporting on the whole situation from Congress.
That exchange between Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jasmine Crockett, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez put a spotlight on the reality of what it is to be a woman of color, and particularly being a black woman in professional spaces that are usually majority white. Marjorie Taylor Greene insulted the appearance and the intelligence of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, one of her colleagues. It was a personal attack, an attack that had nothing to do with policy or even party affiliation. It was an attack that put Crockett in a position where she was forced to make a choice that many black women have found themselves having to make. Either sit there and allow Greene to insult and humiliate her, or stand 10 toes down on business and clap back. And by the way, I should mention that the men in this Congress have not behaved well by any means. In the last year alone, we've seen shouting matches unfold and even an invitation to fight from leaders in this, the least productive House in history. But when it's women having a go, and particularly when a black woman expresses any emotion, even in defense of herself, the attention tends to focus on her behavior, her qualifications, and her response to the provocation. And while that heated exchange has gotten a lot of play in recent days, it's important that we also show you this key moment from Congressman Crockett as well.
This idea of lacking all decorum, decency, has left the building when the stench of Donald Trump showed up. And so we've seen constantly from him how he mocks people. We've seen in this committee how different members want to mock other members. And that's all this is about.
That's it. That's all. It's just about Trump. That's really what it comes down to. This whole thing is just about
Trump's fault.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, the whole thing started with Trump's hush money case. And of course, it must end with Trump's existence becoming the chaos factor. Now, I think it's interesting because Crockett was elected in 2023. That's about, 7 years after Trump became president? So even her, I'm exploding because 7 years ago, Trump became president.
It's an emotional scar in a generation, Basil. Don't underestimate the scar that Trump left on a large portion of the population.
Must be. I mean, it's so interesting because not only is the idea that this is Trump's fault, is it like, of course, that's going to be the automatic response, but like people are gonna buy it. Like they are going to say, you know what, it's because of Trump that these ladies are doing this. And, if Trump was chaotic, then they get to be chaotic. Stop being so sexist. But of course, the sort of race card being laid on pretty heavy there.
Yeah. And I don't know, are people, it feels like the majority or the louder voice is beyond this sort of, sentiment when it comes to the real situation of what is going on with things like Congress. If I don't know, am I wrong? It feels like most people are looking at this situation and thinking, no, it's not about race. Like, don't make it about race. It has nothing to do with race.
I don't know. I think the mainstream media acolytes are latching
Reigniting that
on to this
engine.
idea that
Yeah.
MTG is a white nationalist and Crocket is black, and MTG pushed Crocket past the line where she, felt like she had to respond. What is it they call it in the Marxist groups? They call it oh, nuts. It's not hypocrisy, it's hierarchy.
I do not know.
Respect the different. Dang! I wish I could remember it. Basically,
You're
they
a
say,
bad
like,
Marxist. You
I
better read
know,
up on
I
your.
know. They have a word for it, but it basically just means like, Crockett shouldn't get in trouble because she's black and has different things to deal with than Marjorie Taylor Greene, holding people to different standards, of course, which is the Marxist way of doing things. But to go back to one of your points about the Hegelian dialectic, the problem, reaction, solution, literally towards AI in this case. Again, somebody who might be new to the show or like just hooking in with this sort of thing, they might think it's a pretty big jump to go from this funny Congress moment to AI taking over. But as we've known, as we've reported and kept an eye on, there's plenty of governments around the world, plenty of polls of populations who would think it's a great opportunity to put AI in charge of some things. What is it? Estonia had a majority of their population say that they would prefer a robot president or something. And this scene, a truly human scene in all of its dimensions of its display, truly human scene. And I think the problem is people like it too much, but there is an idea. They're like, hey, look, this is the least effective Congress in history. All they're doing is fighting personal ad hominem attacks. Man, if only we had some cold, calculated, robotic, authoritarian AI in charge, man, would life be better.
It would just be so much more organized. Things will get done. The
Yeah.
DMV, and you can see how that. Oh, I bring up DMV just because it's an old, at least around here, it's an old government program, still runs very old school. You got to still bring in the paper, whatever. Those not operations, but those institutions. Again, it takes a while for it to change, but when it does, it happens very quickly. We've seen it with the internet. You and I, Basil, the world is completely different today than it was when we were born. And so we know things can change very fast. And it's just a matter of, staying grounded and not being swayed by every suggestion of this or that or whatever gets y'all riled up. So, the race thing, it does seem like a distraction. It's a very easy card to play.
It's just a
in
tool
the situation,
at this point. Like,
right?
It's
To
not even
get everyone riled up about that instead of like what's really going on with the
I don't even
the money
feel like the
laundering.
race thing is the distraction. The distraction is the kayfabe, the professional wrestling scene before a fight that played out. And everybody's talking about the fight, and nobody's talking about Lauren Mershon, who is the daughter of the judge in Trump's hush money trial, who is fundraising millions of dollars based on the trial, and those millions of dollars going directly to Democrat politicians and their reelection campaigns.
Well,
I mean, it's a
she
genius
should-
sort of mechanism they have going on here.
She should use that money now that there's a little bit of attention on her. She should use that money and fund women's UFC. Get these ladies in shape and in the ring.
That's sexist,
That's-
Gons.
How is
could
that sexist?
How dare you? How dare
That
you?
is how we settle things around here.
I mean, we should. It's not even about the women thing. That's how
No.
lots of things.
Yeah,
People
that's
would
historically
prefer
how things were
if lots
handled.
of beef were squashed politically by boxing matches, televised wrestling matches, maybe even duels, something like that.
Certainly,
And I'm-
internet beef in the last
and-
few years has become a thing.
Let me be clear. I am not promoting violence. That is not what we're doing. I would never promote violence. What I'm suggesting is improving the U.S. government.
Improving the
but
kayfabe.
putting a bit, yes, of showmanship.
Yes.
It's about showmanship, not violence, YouTube. Okay.
It's the natural follow through to this kind of trash talk. This is the pre-show of all those WWE, WWF. They trash talk each other before they get in the ring. This is, I mean, it's the only logical direction for all this. So
Yeah, it's entertainment. That's how you sell ads.
you got to up the kayfabe game.
How
the
else do you
production.
think C-SPAN is going to keep turning out gems like this? We need some more underwriting for C-SPAN.
Yeah. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene was a hot fireball in this situation. Oh my gosh, this is the worst transition I think I could never do. Which leads us to some stuff going on above our heads.
Space Pope Reptilian.
That is not the jingle I was trying to play. This is the one.
Space. Wanna go to space? It's gotta be biblical.
According to space.com.
Freudian jingle, Gons.
Yeah,
There's a Freudian jingle you played.
Yes. Many layers to the show.
This does relate to some news
It
we had
does.
from the Pope recently.
It does. There were actually some updates on that with the news being that the Pope is going to release this list of, how do you determine a supernatural encounter, and it seemed that the public was kind of confused about what he was doing. So interesting on that, but maybe we'll bring it on Wednesday. Because right now, space.com, bright green fireball lights up the skies over Portugal and Spain. And it says here that the internet is alight with footage of a meteor that sped through the night skies over Portugal and Spain. I will play the footage here on screen for people. I think it's on loop there so people can take a look. The meteor was confirmed by the European Space Agency, ESA, who caught the fireball with its cameras in Caceres, Spain, at 6:46 p.m. on Saturday, May 18th. The ESA confirmed that the fireball was a piece of a comet that rocketed over Spain and Portugal, traveling around 100,000 miles per hour, or about 65 times as fast as the top speed of a Lockheed Martin F-16 jet fighter. The ESA added that the meteor likely burned up over the Atlantic Ocean at an altitude of around 38 kilometers over Earth. And yeah, so there you go. And they got some people commenting on it. This looks like the Saiyans are
just
here.
Listening, it's like an incredible display.
Yeah, I was going to say
humongous green fireball. It's really crazy.
Yeah, imagine a Dragon Ball movie where the Saiyans come flying down from the sky with the fireball. That's exactly what it looks like. So yeah, very very compelling. But
is that Marjorie Taylor Greene going Super Saiyan?
it's her space lasers, the green space lasers coming down. Well, we've brought this up before, the whole green aspect of something in the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verse 11, where it says the name of a star, the name of the star, which actually let me start on 10, which makes it more logical here. Revelation 8, verse 10, the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on the third of the rivers and on the springs of waters. Then you go to verse 11, and it says, the name of the star is called Wormwood, and a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were made bitter. Okay. And the first time I heard about some of the connections here to absinthe with wormwood was from Dr. Future, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago now. And he had done the research, and interestingly enough, you can just go to the absinthe Wikipedia here, and it says that absinthe is an anise-flavored spirit derived from several plants, anise, including the flowers and leaves of Artemisia absinthium, grand wormwood, together with green anise, sweet fennel, and other medicinal and culinary herbs. So, yeah, there's a history there with the green concept. In 1860, the green hour was based on absinthe. It was based on the wormwood version of the absinthe there. So, yeah, just something to point out that the people get drunk.
Is this a absinthe meteor coming down? I mean, later on in the article, it did talk about how, the things that are blue or green that fall from the sky, different chemicals burn different colors, and blue and green is magnesium, and they're like, there must be magnesium crystals on this thing, but maybe it's just like frozen space absinthe
from some drunk alien. Just yeah, that would be the thing. The most modern explanation for Revelation 8 is that a bunch of aliens get drunk and they start throwing things at the earth, and that's the judgment.
Yeah, this was a driving while intoxicated UFO sighting.
Right. Yeah, we got to get regulation. We got to get UFO regulation in place somehow. We can't do it with just the iron fist. We need events to happen. So this can be one of those things. But yeah, it's just one of those rabbit trails. If anybody wants to go down, it's fascinating. And not saying that this is, this event here is Wormwood as prophesied in the Bible, but given the circumstances and the word green being used in a certain particular way with all the chaos in Congress, I mean, maybe there's a connection there. But that's for speculation. What?
It's not for speculation. I'm
speculation.
Looking up the nutritional information of absinthe.
Mm-hmm.
What is?
Yeah,
magnesium?
Isn't it used?
Is that a mineral?
Yeah, it was used in what's that movie?
Okay, here's the mineral chart for absinthe.
Okay.
I'm glad this exists. I would not have expected this to exist, but it's great. It has manganese is the one of the more potent things in absinthe. It's at 0.018 milligrams. I'm sure that's per ounce or something. But my theory might be wrong, Gons, because magnesium 0 milligrams in absinthe. Manganese. It's manganese. What color? Okay, now I got to look up what color does manganese burn. You can fill the time while I do this.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know. There wasn't much else I was going to talk about. Absinthe.
About
we're just going to go deep into the absinthe lore.
Say something in Japanese. People love it when you do that.
You just act as a clown over here, a little monkey clown. Well, let's see. The idea of it becoming bitter waters is really fascinating in Revelation 8:11, where a third of the waters on the earth became wormwood. And so that's kind of fascinating, and there's other parts of the Bible where it talks about not harming the wine, so there's something about drinks in the end times. It's a very fascinating study there, especially if you think about the beasts that come out of the sea, the ocean there. So, and yes, in the Greek, just to mention, wormwood is absinthon. Absinthon.
Okay, I'll say this. I was looking up color, flame, chemistry stuff here. It does say copper burns blue-green flame, and absinthe has 0.21 milligrams of copper.
Oh, there you go. Maybe that's what it is.
Per ounce. Arguably, it has more copper than it does manganese. Yep, it absolutely does. It has 3 more milligrams of copper. So that's what it is copper, absinthe, crystallized in the cold vacuum of space with some partying aliens on their meteor-shaped UFO, came crashing down and going to get a galactic DUI. And
that's what it... Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I knew I would ring a bell.
The movie that I'm thinking of, it's called From Hell. And it has Johnny Depp, and he has this. It's about Jack the Ripper. He's like investigating Jack the Ripper murders, and he goes to like a bar or something like that, and he has this whole experience with the emerald green elixir. Ooh. So that's From Hell. Yeah, appropriate name for the scene.
Absinthe was also extremely popular with the 20th century occult novelists like the Huxleys and
It was like the main thing. It's the main spirit to get them all inspired to channel their deities or whatever. So,
well, we went ahead and solved all those mysteries, put them into one. So, I think the story ended with they're looking for fragments of the thing to see if any existed. They don't think any would have survived, but the meteorite hunters are on the job.
I think what we're trying to say is that everybody in Congress was drunk on absinthe and they just couldn't handle their stuff.
Yeah, maybe it's just
or maybe the other way. Maybe they need some absinthe and they'll chill out and they won't be so mean to each other.
No, it's the spirit and principality of Wormwood that is making our leaders drunk with power.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, Gons, let's remind everybody what day it is. Do you remember?
No, I think it's Monday.
Okay.
Gary,
it's Monday.
What day is it? Monday. Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Yep, It's Monday. Not feeling any better about things. Stuff is hard. Stuff is hard across the board. And for every Canarian, whether you're just a listener or a producer or just tuning in for the first time, this is our new theme for this year, is recognizing that we are getting attacks from all sides, individually and corporately and around the world. It's going to be one of those years. And everybody is fighting secret battles left and right that we'll never know about. But I am encouraging everybody within the thrall of my voice here to get connected with the Canary Cry community. Put your prayer requests out there. We'll get the producers on the job, because if we're all on alert, if we're all on guard spiritually, mentally, physically, not only can the Lord prevail and will prevail in our personal lives, personal problems, but also the worldwide shenanigans that just keep getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people are praying for you, for us, and we truly appreciate that. It makes a difference. It really does. And it's something that, I don't know. It's for me anyway. It's a comforting thing in my spirit just to know that people are praying for the show and for us. It's I don't know. There's a supernatural comfort that comes over me when I ever feel anxious about life, when anytime things happen. But Basil, I don't have the clip ready, but maybe I'll share it on Wednesday. My oldest daughter is trying to join the Marines, and so we've been talking military stuff a lot, and we're on YouTube Shorts and we're just clicking around, and there's some really intense military training footage and stuff on YouTube Shorts, and there's one where they're getting trained. I think it's the Army. It was some special ops thing where they have the goggles on with the big scuba dive goggles that covers their nose, and they're on their backs. They're holding guns, and they have to do this ab exercise thing, and they start pouring water into the goggles. And so, it's going through some people, and they're all, they can't handle it. And then the guy's yelling at them or whatever, the sergeant guy. And then it shows the sergeant guy doing it. And it's the greatest clip, Basil. It will inspire you. I hope it inspires you. And he says something in there. I apologize for the young people listening. It's not a super bad word, but I think it's appropriate for our circumstances in this moment, in this year. He's there, he's holding, he's got the water, he's doing the move, the exercise, and he's going, "It hurts, get used to the pain." And then he says, "Embrace the suck." And so I think, Basil, as a community, we can embrace the suck of life and just learn to just push through,
That's what enduring is. We are called to endure the trials and tribulations. That is what we are told. It is impossible to do without the strength and sovereignty of God. But that does pretty much wrap up in a sort of fleshly phrase what we're called to do.
It's a great clip. I'll bring it. Maybe I'll find it later. It's one of those. I don't want to double check to make sure there's any more I don't know, bad words in there. I don't think there are, but it's military, so you never know. But one more thing before we start thanking some producers. I did do a stealth publish on the RSS feed of Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk over the weekend. It was basically the article that I've been trying to finish up and publish for a while now, decentralizing intelligence ops. And that's sort of the shorter name for it, because you made fun of me for making such a long title. So I shortened it for the episode.
Don't tell people that. I did not make fun of you.
Yeah, you did.
No, I just said, wow, that's a long name.
I think you said totally clickable. And I felt like, oh, you're right. It's totally not clickable.
Yes,
Who wants to click on such a huge link?
I was complimenting you on your highly clickable work.
Yeah.
Gans, with our record, with our episode titles, with our nonsense, having something that's actually clickable is a huge compliment. We have a history of producing the least clickable thumbnails and episode names. I mean, there's a reason why we are where we are, Gans, and that's because we have not learned to become clickable. That is what's going to get us through this.
Yeah. Well, just real quick, the 3 main takeaways from the long article. I read it for the audio. I have a video ready for it. Maybe we'll publish it tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
But it's the 3 takeaways: mainstream versus alternative versus independent. Recent controversies in alternative media signal a broader shift towards decentralization and fragmentation across various sectors, highlighted by disputes involving key personalities and companies. Evolution of public-private partnerships. The traditional public-private partnerships are evolving into complex civic partnerships where media and technology blur the lines between civilian and intelligence operations. That's kind of the big summary of the piece. And how to navigate the new media landscape, analyze the core message and economic models. Of course, I articulate the value for value. It really just turns into a value for value promo in the end, in a way.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily mean for that to happen, but as part of the example of how to navigate all this stuff, it really does distill down to those 2 things: core message, economic
it's the
model.
answer. I mean, we've been saying that forever for a reason. It's not just that we're trying to, encourage people to support this show, but as an economic model, considering all the issues, the innumerable, incalculable, interconnected issues between control, economics, personal life, spirituality, everything, the only earthly solution, or at least coping mechanism to these things, is value for value. And that's why, I don't rant about it so much anymore, because people started getting irritated with me. But that's why, couple years ago, the value for value pitch was just a dissertation on how value for value application in every part of your life is the answer to the global theology of, not just advertising, but the fiat half capitalist, half socialist resource extraction system that the elites of this world have put together. It's the only thing that makes sense. And I think you did a great job of putting it into your own sort of words there, probably words that people will resonate with much more than my sort of off the top ranting about it. So I think it's very good. I mean, and it's, again, it applies not just to like macroeconomics and internet community sustaining independence, not just for the shows, but for the individuals, but it's very much a personal, spiritual concept as well. So I encourage everybody to go check out Guns' thing. Yes, on the RSS feeds, another good reason to subscribe on the RSS feeds, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your RSS feed podcasts. Go subscribe there, because sometimes there's little nuggets that go there that don't make it other places. And they're the last place that we're going to get censored, probably, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you to all the people hanging out in the chat in the various locations. I think I see, what is this, Little Cat? Little Cat?
What?
Blue Little Digital, who's like, I think the avatar is like a little cat or something. I don't know. Anyway,
Okay.
thank you for all the
All right.
people. I see
Thanks,
cats
Blue
everywhere.
Little Kitty.
I see your black cat, blue cat, green cat, whatever.
Where are you seeing this? What is
Just
what
in
are you
the
talking about?
comments. Just scroll.
I
in the
know, but I'm
comments.
looking at the comments too. Was it a YouTube person?
No, it's an X person.
Okay. Oh yeah, X. Okay, we got X. We got YouTube.
Yeah, I was just trying to say
Twitch.
what's up
We
to the
got
X people
Rumble.
too.
We see you all. We see
Yep.
you all, and we love you. Thanks for being here.
All right.
Okay. Well, Guns, it's about time that we thank some executive producers real quick. Are you
Let's
ready?
do it.
Okay.
Executive producers.
Yep, it's true, folks. We're on the value for value model, which means we take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels, truly independent from any adversarial entity that would have any interest in controlling the message around here. And we're only able to do that because of the value for value model. It's very simple. We put out as much value as we possibly can. If what we put out brings any value to your life in any way, you have the opportunity. Some people make it their responsibility to put value back into the system because it's simple. When the value being put back into the system, does not, I don't know, the value being put in dictates if this show continues or not, or at what level the show continues. It's a very simple system. There's no corporations trying to advertise, trying to keep a bad show alive for some weird corporate propaganda reason. It is free from the sort of meta control systems, with the exception of the censorship and the this and the that still happens. But we're working our way around that. So you can go to canarycried.support to learn more about that. And the executive producers are people who support. Remember, you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. It's not just all about money. This is something people always need to take a second to grasp. This is not just financial support. It comes in many forms. Moral support is a huge thing, folks. When you send an email or a message to a corporately run show, or a show that gets their money from corporations, they literally have no reason to read your message, much less care about it. I'm telling you, when you are getting that corporate advertising paycheck, there is no reason to care what anybody has to say to you. But value for value, we take that stuff as a form of payment. Even just your moral support being emailed to our inbox does way more than you could possibly know to keep this show alive. But then you could also use your art. If you're an artist, a musician, whatever, create something for the show. Send it to canarycried.art. Go there, upload it. Everything. And your time, of course. We got people who help us out, volunteer for projects. We couldn't do it without them either. But executive producers, they are people who come in for $100 or more for any individual episode, and that's why we thank them here at the top. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, starting out with the one, the only, the master executive producer, Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Green Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
Coming in for the $100.33.
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol.
293 episodes in a row and a whopping 92 episode executive producer streak. God bless you.
Did somebody make the 100 executive streak jingle already?
That's a good question. We'll have to look at the records.
Feels like Jonathan F. or somebody made it.
We will need a 100 executive producer streak. That one we cannot miss. We need to get that for Alex
that
Protocol.
one's huge.
Thank you very much, Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Green Protocol.
Yep, thank you.
Next up, we've got executive producer, Sir Jamie, not the Lannister.
Where'd you find this?
Coming in with his tithe for last week. Thank you very much, Sir Jamie. It
Thank you,
really
Sir
means
Jamie.
a lot to us. And for those out there, I know there's a little bit of chitter chatter about tithing in our personal message and in some of the streams going on. We do not ask anybody to tithe. Tithing is a very personal choice. Tithing is a controversial topic within the Christian community, especially the sort of online fringe communities. We are not necessarily asking for anybody's tithe, but some people choose to tithe to the show. It means an incredible amount. We are not a 501c3, so there is no tax-exempt situation there, but we're so grateful to those who feel led to do that, like Sir Jamie, not the Lannister. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, you know what? Before you read that, I just found this.
Your friend and brother in Christ, Sir Jamie, not the Lannister.
There it is.
Oh, that's fun. Cool. Okay. He sent a little note here. I think it was last episode, maybe a couple episodes ago. We showed the very cool picture of Sir Jamie playing bass on stage in front of 6,000 people. You could see his canary tattoos on his neck. And, we had a little back and forth about whether that was us or not. But he does say here, I don't remember what I said on TJT, but the canaries on my neck were definitely partly inspired by y'all, just to clear that up. Thank you very much. They are inspired by us. What an incredible producer of the show. Thank you very much, Sir Jamie, not the Lannister.
Yeah, thank you. If you would have told me sooner, I probably would have pulled that picture up again for anybody who wants to. check it out.
Well, we'll show it later. We can show it anytime we want. We can. He's our friend. He'll let us show the picture.
Like right now, there he is. Look how cool he looks.
Is,
oh, so
Lancer
awesome.
On stage, thousands of people. He's wearing the Canary Cry News Talk seal shirt in front of all those people, and you can see one of the 2 canary tattoos he has on his neck there. One of the coolest things. Yeah, he's got one on each side.
Oh.
See? It's very cool. It's the coolest. Might be the coolest accomplishment that we've had in quite some time. Thank you very much, executive producer Sir Jamie, not the Lannister.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay. That's it for the executive producers today. Thank you very much. We've only got 3 regular producers, so I'm going to thank them real quick.
Okay.
Thank you to these producers. They come in under the executive producer amount, but we appreciate them all the more the same. all the same, all the same.
All the same.
Because it takes everybody. It takes everybody to keep this show going. We had a producer come in at canarycry.tube with a monthly producership, and their name is producer Roderick B.
Roger B? Is that Roger B?
Roderick.
Roderick. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Roderick
Thank you very
B. Thank
much.
you, Roderick.
Yeah, and remember, folks, canarycry.tube, that is where we are shooting for our goal to be able to take back our streaming sovereignty. That means creating our own infrastructure that's going to be protecting us from the censorship powers. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's not a cheap thing to do, but it is something that everybody must do eventually if they plan on continuing, practicing free speech. That's just the long and short of it. This is something that we're kind of on the vanguard of, but we imagine that everybody will have to do it at some point. So we're putting in the work here to figure out how to do it, how to run the experiments, find a way that can be replicated for each person trying to carry on with free speech. And because Roderick B came in at canarycry.tube, it is a URL. Go there, you can learn more. His amount will be instantly doubled by Sir Jamie, not the Lannister. So a good reason to go to canarycry.tube, sign up for a monthly producership, because Sir Jamie, you will instantly double your first month of support.
Thank you, Roderick B.
Next up, we've got producer Sir Marty K. Now to the wrong timeline.
Hey, Sir Marty K. What's up?
Sir Marty came in twice. He came in once for $20.16 and again for $33.33.
Of course, he's got to flash his Illuminati card. Make sure.
Of course, he's our Illuminati Dane.
Marty. Yeah.
Yeah. Illuminati Marty. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Guns. He came in a couple times here. I'm just kind of double checking. We did have a note from him. We had an email with a note. He's on a 3-episode streak, by the way.
Okay.
He's heating up. That's right. He's heating up. Thank you, Sir Marty. He comes in and says, "Hey, fellas and my fellow Canarians. What in the world is going on in the USSA, Basil? You and I can't just let that blonde evil lady talk that way to our AOC.
Oh, boy. Here
we have
go.
to defend her honor, man. But since you are the only one on Twitter, I guess you'll have to lead our crusade from there until I arrive IRL. And yes, there are some semi-deep lore in that super chat. LOL. Oh, I gotta see what he's talking about. He did send a video. He says the video is 59 seconds, far too long, I know, but maybe you can play some of it so we can all see and hear what kind of things our AOC has put up with. Yours truly, Marty K. Well, don't worry, Marty K. That's why we devoted the first block of the show, so everybody could see this ironic love of Sir Marty and myself. Somebody's got to defend AOC. Come on. She's a damsel in distress. Anyways, thank you very much, Sir Marty K, for your producership.
Thank you. Do you want me to play some of this? The video?
It's just everything we've already played. So
okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
He says far too long. We played the entire thing in totality.
You're right. We did play the whole thing.
So
okay.
Everybody heard it.
We're
Thank
good.
You, Sir
You're
Marty
good.
K.
You got it. You got your MTG AOC kick today, so you guys are good.
Yeah, you can't overdose on
Go
those
touch
two.
grass, folks. Yeah.
Next up, we've got producer Elio coming
Elio.
in for 1111. Says, hi, Basil Dazzle. Hi, Gone. Sending a little love and sunshine from England. Oh. Love
You
you
okay there?
loads,
Oh, you are.
Elio.
Sorry, I missed you on the last few seconds. You cut out.
Oh, okay. Well, it says, hi, Basil Dazzle. Hi, Gone. Sending a little love and sunshine from England. Oh, and some spondoolies for the week.
Oh,
Love you loads.
spondoolies. Ah, there you go.
Yeah,
Thank you, Elio.
I love the spondoolies. Thank you very much. One of our English producers. All right. That concludes the list of financial producers who came in above $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got our streakers here. We'll thank them real quick. And we're on with the show, starting with Sir Tristan, Knight of the Garden, on a 36-episode streak.
Thank you, Sir Tristan.
Dr. Who Done Dat, 90 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Doctor Who Done Dat.
Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman, 50 in a row.
Thank you, Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman, Nifty 50.
Nifty 50 Jubilee, that's what it is. Nifty 50 Jubilee, thank you very much, Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman. Next up, we got Veronica D, 395 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
And last but not least, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 442 in a row.
Whew. Thank you, Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
There we go. All right. There's all our financial producers for this episode. Thank you guys so much. Also, thank you to the supply drop producers, the T-shirt council members, and of course, the monthly canarycry.tube beer inners, the focus groupers. These are all groups of people who have committed to support the show on a monthly basis. Again, we absolutely could not be doing what we're doing if it weren't for our monthly producers. So we want to thank each and every one of you. I think we have, so there's things going on. The supply drop is getting sent out as we speak. The T-shirt council stuff is getting manufactured as we speak, and the focus group is so close to starting. So everybody on those lists, keep an eye out on your email box. And I think we had a voice message from Sir Ike.
Yeah, right? let me play that for you guys.
Yeah. Hey, Canary family, this is Sir Ike here. I just wanted to give everybody the shout out that if you are a supply dropper, to keep an eye out on your mailboxes for the next couple days, because I have all of the people stateside shipped out the door into the postal system right now. It is Friday, so you should be expecting those to land probably by Monday or Tuesday, most places. As far as everybody that's international, I just want everybody to know that all the international people out there, if you're listening, I have sent all of you emails regarding shipping for your Q1. So if your name is George R, Grace H, Lottie H, Laura M, Michael G, Linval H, Sir Marty, Jack M, Robert R, Julie G, Victor T, Craig D, Clarence P, and Johnson H. I check your email. I have sent you an email out there, and I need to be able to arrange international shipping for you. And help me if you could get back with me as soon as you could, and I can get those out in the mail to you soon. Hope everybody's having a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much, Sir
Thank you, Sir Ike.
Yes, international shipping people, of course, there's extra steps to get stuff out to you, so take a look in your inbox. Okay. And yeah, I think that's it. I think it's time to get back to the show. So thank you to everybody who plays their part in keeping this show value for value alive. And remember, you can go to canarycry.support to learn all about it.
Yes, sir.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canarycry.support.
It is the time for Flippy.
Flippy time.
Flippy time. Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's time for the Flippy update, the much anticipated Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from my best friend and nemesis, therobotreport.com. And there's a fun little video. If you turn the sound off, you can let it play up there, Gons. But the headline is Robot Super Limbs Help Astronauts Stand Up After Falling. This is super Flippy. This is not just Flippy. We've got super Flippy.
Super Flippy.
For MIT engineers, the lunar bloopers also highlight an opportunity to innovate. Did I miss something? No, here we go. Need a moment of levity? Try watching videos of astronauts falling on the moon. NASA's outtakes of Apollo astronauts tripping and stumbling as they bounce in slow motion are delightfully relatable. Yes, so relatable watching people strung up on cable systems in an Hollywood underground bunker filming the moon landing. For MIT engineers, the lunar bloopers also highlight an opportunity to innovate. Quote, astronauts are physically very capable, but they can struggle on the moon, where gravity is 1/6 that of Earth, but their inertia is still the same. Furthermore, wearing a spacesuit is a significant burden and can constrict their movements, says Harry Asada. That's a funny name. Harry Asada, professor of mechanical engineering at MIT. Quote, we want to provide a safe way for astronauts to get back on their feet if they fall. Okay, safe way. We need safety for the astronauts. And yeah, you know, in that little video that did have a bunch of astronauts falling down, it is fun to watch. And is also a topic of interest for people who, you know, are analyzing moon footage, and there's lots of theories about that. Asada and his colleagues are designing a pair of wearable robotic limbs that can physically support an astronaut and lift them back on their feet after a fall. The system, which the researchers have dubbed supernumerary robotic limbs, or super limbs, is designed to extend from a backpack, which would also carry the astronaut's life support system, along with the controller and motors to power the limbs. The researchers have built a physical prototype as well as a control system to direct the limbs based on feedback from the astronaut using it. The team tested a preliminary version on healthy subjects who also volunteered to wear a constrictive garment similar to the astronaut spacesuit. When the volunteers attempted to get up from a sitting or lying position, they did so with less effort when assisted by super limbs compared to when they had to recover on their own. Yes, wow, incredible experiment. Those who had a third robotic limb to help them get up got up easier and better and more stylish. The MIT team envisions that super limbs can physically assist astronauts after a fall and in the process help them conserve their energy for other essential tasks. The design could prove especially useful in the coming years with the launch of NASA's Artemis mission, which plans to send astronauts back to the moon for the first time in over 50 years. Unlike the largely exploratory mission of Apollo, Artemis astronauts will endeavor to build the first permanent moon base, a physically demanding task that will require multiple extended extravehicular activities, EVAs. Okay, extended extravehicular activities. Quote, during the Apollo era, when astronauts would fall, 80% of the time, it was when they were doing excavation or some sort of job with a tool, says team member and MIT doctoral student Eric Boyasteros. Quote, the Artemis mission will really focus on construction and excavation, so the risk of falling is much higher. We think that super limbs can help them recover so they can be more productive and extend their EVAs. Super limbs guns. I think it's a little elitist and unfair for astronauts on the moon to get these. We've got a lot of people with fall risks just right here on Earth, guns. We've got more gravity. We've got more obstacles. Arguably, we're using tools much more often. But, you know, it's not as good of a PR stunt. You know, you get your product on the moon. That's pretty good for marketing.
Yeah, I think this is ageist. You got a lot of people that fall and can't get up, you know, and they give them a necklace with a button on it, and hopefully someone comes to help you.
Hopefully another human.
Another
comes to help
human,
you.
right, comes to help you, but on the moon, it's like, haha, nope.
Nope.
Give
Don't
me
need
your give me your body, and I will give you extra limbs, super limbs.
And in this case, you can see in the video and some other things, it's actually one single arm that's in a gigantic backpack that they're carrying. And, you know, they put this guy in a pretty stuffy looking suit and pushed him over, kicked him a few times, and then let the robotic arm kind of try to help him up. And folks, surprise, surprise, it did.
Yeah, the just to connect things here, you mentioned the Artemis mission there, right?
Yes.
Well, the absinthe, I guess, leaf or whatever the plant it comes from is Artemisia absinthium.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. Do you know what's the etymology of Artemis is? I mean, it's certainly some sort of Greek god or Roman.
Yeah, I think it's. Let me look at the etymology dictionary.
Okay.
And I will pull
Dictionary.
up the Artemis report. A Greek goddess of the moon, wild animal hunting, childbirth, identified by the Romans with their Diana, so it's the same as goddess Diana, daughter of Zeus and Leto, twin sister of Apollo. Her name is of unknown origin.
Wow, it's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
Green absinthe meteor, which is the goddess of Artemis making absinthe. And now we've got Flippy, a robotic arm, being sent to the moon in the name of Artemis. I think we're starting to get a full picture, Gons, of what we're dealing with.
Yeah, and
I don't need to lay out all the specifics for everybody here. Everybody listening knows exactly how to fill in the, the blanks on that.
Yeah, let's go to
theory.
Revelation 8. Revelation 8, and just do a one-for-one, you know, red tack to red tack type of
We gotta
situation there.
Take a look and see if Flippy shows up in the book of Revelation. There's got to be something.
I think
about,
we've
like,
done some analysis on that before.
Yeah, the third hand of iron.
The third hand of iron
helps the moon man stand before he falls.
Before he falls. There is let's see, the bear gets lifted up on the side. The lion, if we're talking about biblical animals and the, you know, eschatological animals, I believe it's the lion who had eagle's wings, as described in Daniel. His wings get plucked, and he stands up like a man.
Okay.
And most people see that as a downgrade from like a lion, you know, like this majestic creature, a lion with eagle wings, to a human being. So
Here's
maybe
a
something
quick
there.
detail here. Overall, the volunteers were able to stand stably with much less effort when assisted by the robot, compared to when they tried to stand alone while wearing the bulky suit. Quote, "It feels kind of like an extra force moving with you."
An extra force, huh?
Extra force, says Ballesteros, who also tried out the suit and arm assist. Quote, "Imagine wearing a backpack." Everybody imagine, close your eyes, clear your mind. Imagine wearing a backpack and someone grabs the top and sort of pulls you up. Over time, it becomes sort of natural. Ooh, that's a great point, Ballesteros. So there you go, folks.
Harry Carnitas? What was it?
No, no, that's a different guy.
Different guy.
Harry Asada.
Harry Asada.
And this other fella, yeah. So there you go, folks. It's just a matter of time. It all starts on the moon, and then suddenly you're carrying around a robotic arm everywhere you go, much like your cell phone. You know, we're also addicted to the cell phone. We need it now. Soon we'll be addicted to a third robotic limb in a backpack, helping us up whenever we fall, because we don't exercise anymore. Walking is a thing of the past, and our legs have turned spindly and unstable. Thank you, Flippy, for being there for me and my buddies.
For people that may be new to the show, we joked about Wormicorn a long time ago. Did you see that clip from RFK Jr. talking about they found dead worms in his brain or something?
Worms in his brain, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did make a little joke, try to recover before, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. He mentioned Wormicorns. No, he did not, but it's the only thing left, Basil, the only thing left. All right.
Okay. All right. There's your Flippy update for the day.
You ready for World War III?
I'm ready. Let's go.
You're ready. Okay.
You shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
World War III.
Armageddon's on the way.
Yeah. So, of course, one of the big pieces of news over the weekend was the passing of the president of Iran under some interesting circumstances. We first, or at least I did, I started seeing reports about the Iranian president missing after a helicopter crash. I believe it was Sunday morning or maybe Saturday night. I don't remember. Maybe it was like late Saturday night. And then by the end of Sunday, the reports were coming out that, like for the example, the CNN report here, Iran's President Raisi killed in helicopter crash.
Big deal. Big deal.
Big deal.
Don't know if you guys have been paying attention or not, but Iran's kind of a big deal right now. So basically, I don't know if it was full-on declaration of war, but it was certainly hurtling straight towards World War III when it comes to getting involved with Israel and Gaza. And Iran, of course, and Russia have a very tight relationship. They've been working together kind of on the same axis for quite some time. And yeah, I mean, the closest I think so far that we had gotten to World War III was when Iran finally was like, yeah, okay, we're just going to destroy Israel now. So hold on to your butts, everybody.
Yep. Yeah, no, the language was getting more and more bold, I suppose. But here, this is how CNN reported. They had this 1-minute report when stuff was breaking about this I think it was last night. Yeah, last night, or maybe it was this morning. Here it is.
We are following breaking news out of Iran, where state media has now confirmed the death of President Ibrahim Raisi and the country's foreign minister after a deadly helicopter crash. Now, rescue crews are now at a staging area. Those are live pictures where they are trying to assess where exactly the wreckage is and to begin their recovery efforts. Iranian officials say the helicopter ran into trouble amid heavy fog on Sunday afternoon. Images of the crash site in Iran's East Azerbaijan province show the remote mountainous area where the aircraft went down. And you are looking at a photo of it right there. The president and other officials had been attending a ceremony for the opening of a new dam near the border with Azerbaijan. Rescuers faced difficult weather conditions overnight, including cold and heavy fog, as they scrambled to locate the crash site. Iranians were urged to pray for the president amid news of the crash, with the country's supreme leader vowing that there will be no disruption in Iran's work.
There you go.
No
disruption. So one of the interesting things is that when they were showing some of the footage of this, and by the way, for some reason, I couldn't zoom in. Like, you know how sometimes on CNN, MSNBC, they have a video at the top, and when you scroll down and try to read the article or something, the video follows you and it tries to give you full screen and it's trying to be all in your face.
Yeah.
Well, in this occasion, I couldn't get the video to get big on the screen. And I tried to zoom in on my side and I couldn't, for some reason I couldn't do it. But maybe I'm just a tinfoil hat boy. But the image that they show, the first image that they show is of a guy, it's somebody's phone filming like a computer monitor or screen or something that has the image of the alleged helicopter that crashed in Iran. And you can see people walking around, like, around the screen and stuff. It's kind of a weird image to show as like, here's proof. As always, almost maybe meant to stoke the skepticism a little bit. And then they show, I guess, another photo of it, but it's not very clear. I mean, the real bottom line is, who knows what happened? This could be he could have, I mean, people think that he might have been paid off. He might have been like, hey, step down. This isn't working out. get a paycheck. We'll say you died. You can kind of sail off into the sunset. Others see it as a more nefarious thing. I see a lot of Mossad did it type of sentiment out there. CIA sentiment out there. So the timing is, the timing itself makes it very suspicious, of course.
Yeah, of course. And one thing, there are some interesting details of this, but we kind of need to be mindful. Guns, actually, I'm going to pop a link into the
Okay.
private chat real quick.
Sure.
Because, digging around, you can find some interesting stuff, again, regarding the timing and this guy's sort of position, his what he was up to at the time of his death. And it starts to fill in a lot of the blanks that were sort of left out, specifically by CNN and some of the more obvious outlets. But the New York Times tended to include a lot of these very interesting details. So it does kind of beg the question, are they trying to avoid things? Are they, what is the play here when it comes to the details? Because who this guy is and how and when he died are extraordinarily convenient for the Western forces. And helicopters are dangerous things, especially in the fog. But
Yeah, I mean,
accidents
just
happen.
what is it? It's been 4 years. It's been 4 years since Kobe Bryant died when the helicopter crashed in the fog there. So,
Those
of
pesky
course, a lot of people were
helicopters.
thinking of the similarities there. Like, maybe the same people behind this
Pesky
little accident.
helicopters. New York Times says Ibrahim Raisi, Iran's president, dies in a helicopter crash at 63. Subheadline: The hardline Shiite cleric was seen as a possible successor to Iran's supreme leader. Mr. Raisi's death comes at a moment of turbulence for a country facing a deepening conflict with Israel. Ibrahim Raisi, Iran's president and top contender to succeed the nation's supreme leader, was killed on Sunday in a helicopter crash. He was 63. A conservative Shiite Muslim cleric who had a hand in some of the most brutal crackdowns on opponents of the Islamic Republic, Mr. Raisi was a protege of Iran's supreme leader and a devoted upholder of religious rule in the country. So remember, it's
Yeah.
a theocracy set up over there. And so to have a cleric, if you're a cleric, you have some pretty incredible power. But this particular cleric was also the president. Mr. Raisi's presidency was shaped by two major events: the 2022 nationwide uprising led by women and girls, demanding the end to the Islamic Republic's rule and the government's brutal crushing of that movement, and the current Middle East war with Israel, with which it had a long history of clandestine attacks. As the president under Iran's political system, Mr. Raisi did not set the country's nuclear or regional policy, but he inherited a government that was steadily expanding its regional influence through a network of proxy militia groups and nuclear program that was rapidly advancing to weapons-grade uranium enrichment levels following the United States' exit from a nuclear deal. Remember, the Iran nuclear deal was a favorite deal of Obama and Biden administrations, but was pulled out by Trump. It says here, Mr. Raisi endorsed and supported both of these policies and viewed them as essential for Iran to maintain its influence in the region and to exercise leverage in the West. Now, he was also intimately, of course, involved with Iran's most recent declarations of war on Israel.
Oh yeah, there's lots of footage of him declaring war on Israel.
Yeah, and the New York Times, which I think the New York Times is one of these establishment places that have been more on the pro-Israel side of things. This is kind of the trick with looking at various news outlets, because I've seen conservatives and maybe some truther type people sort of operate under the assumption that every single mainstream news outlet is sort of perpetrating the same anti-Israel that the far left is, the protesters, the pro-Gaza, pro-Hamas crowd.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about the confusion here that
there's
has
an
been instigated.
assumption that establishment liberal news outlets are on their side, but this is one of the divisions that has really thrown a wrench in the classic left-right paradigm, which we say is probably on purpose to continue to divide groups that have become too powerful on their own, giving too much power to the people. But they're a little bit more on the pro-Israel side of things, and so they really kind of rolled out some of these details regarding his soon ascension to supreme leader, which is the actual sort of monarchical position in Iran. It does have a splash of like Prigozhin. Remember Prigozhin, the whole thing with, he led the Wagner group, the private military attacking Ukraine. And then he fled to Africa to work on some projects there that he had, some side projects in Africa on behalf of Putin. And then allegedly flying on a jet back to St. Petersburg, the plane crashed. Some people said they thought they saw missiles, but it just crashed. But, no remains were found. And this is the tricky part. No remains were found. So there's kind of room for speculating. If you're relying on his name on a manifest, a guy having the world assume that he's dead. Now, Mr. Raisi, so far, I don't believe we have a body. Is that true? Have you seen anything they've recovered? All I've seen is that they're having a hard time recovering. There's
some alleged footage. This is coming from Matt Wallace. We made fun of Matt Wallace while you were out, Basil. Sort of these sensationalists on X. Matt Wallace posted a picture. It says here, they are saying the image shows the body president of Iran wrapped in a blanket after the helicopter crash. Does that look real to you?
It's always just wrapped in a blanket.
It's a photo
wrapped in a blanket
of yes, an alleged.
You can't even tell there's a person in there.
It doesn't even look like a person fits in there unless they really squished him in there or something. I mean, unless he was really short.
There's no obvious like head or tail.
No. I mean, it would have to be, he was all mangled up and there you go.
Which is possible, I suppose. Now,
anything's possible.
Here's one detail about Raisi that is important to remember as we move on here. This is from the New York Times. Mr. Raisi took office promising to pursue a resistance diplomacy, meaning a defiance of Western powers, but an openness to negotiations, partially with the United States, to return to the nuclear deal and to seek the removal of sanctions. But months of negotiations fell through in the fall of 2021, and no deal has been reached with the Biden administration. So explicitly anti-Western, which surprises nobody. I mean, sometimes you see these clips, you see these videos that are like taken from, Iranian or Middle Eastern public access television, and they're just like saying the craziest stuff about, death to America, burn it all down, it's this anti-Semitism stuff that could never make it on American television. But he's one of those, just sort of countless clips of him talking about his displeasure with Western governments, which, who you always got to ask, who stands to benefit? I mean, if this guy was so anti-Western and was next in line to be supreme leader, you could name a few countries who would benefit from him having a little whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Again, I declare I know nothing. I mean, we should all declare that we're not there. We're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Just saying, I know who benefits. That's all I know.
Yeah,
now,
for sure. We know who benefits.
There is some talk. There's some interesting spin going on this, and this I would have no way of I mean, I guess I could find a way to confirm this. I have not yet done it, but there's also some talk from talkers online.
Online.
That Iranians themselves are very happy about this.
Yes, there is. Yeah. So this issue, obviously, we again the suspicions about who might be actually behind this is no surprise, especially with what we're dealing with the mainstream. And you maybe I don't even want to get down the labeling and the categorizing of who mainstream supports and who they don't and all this because it can get confusing. But there's one person that I found. And we've talked about this gentleman before, Hanania Naftali. And interestingly enough, I was doing a little digging about Hanania Naftali. He's a Jewish believer in Jesus, according to some news outlets. So there's that. Interesting. Now, he's taken up a very interesting position on X. We talked about him a few months ago because he popped on X and basically said, he's like, yeah, I'll be the guy, especially October 7th. I believe it was around, almost precisely around that point. He was like, I'm bringing you the exclusive of what's going down in Palestine, Israel, the whole situation. You know, I'm the media guy. I'm the social media guy to bring you all that stuff. And so on his X account, you can see here.
We could just say that and just have it happen.
What do you mean?
Hey, everybody, we're the guy. You want to know about robots? It's us.
We're the guy.
Ones. Everybody just come to us.
Yeah, well, we don't have the arm of the establishment intelligence operatives behind us, so it's a little bit harder to punch through. But we are, to the point of my article from earlier, we are more on an even playing field, Basil. There is some truth to that idea. So, okay, so basically in his profile here, Hanania Naftali, he says, I'm that Israeli who talks to the camera about peace in the Middle East. And he's got the Israeli flag and the dove, born in 1995, just a young buck. And in light of this news, just a few pieces of posts from Hanania Naftali. He has, this was the last threat of the Iranian foreign minister. Quote, the coming days will be difficult days for the Zionist entity, end quote. He is now dead. That is his tweet. And so there you go. And he's got a picture of him saying the coming day will be difficult for Zionist entity. This is the foreign minister of Iran, Hussein Abdolian, who is also allegedly on the helicopter. So if the plan is to sort of deflect any kind of accusation that Israel or Mossad or something is behind this guy is not helping. He's like, hey, look they threatened Israel. Look, he's dead now. Ha ha. It's kind of like, okay, don't
similar
do that. That's weird.
To the Prigozhin thing.
Yeah. He's got another one here. They're all dead. Iranian people are celebrating this. And he's got the montage picture of all the people that were allegedly on that helicopter. It's just weird, when you're super stoked about politicians dying. And I've always felt that way. Like even when I was a kid, I remember when, who was it? Somebody passed away and there were a bunch of people cheering for it. Yeah. It was kind of like weird. That is weird. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was the Osama bin Laden thing.
Yeah.
I think that was it. I think that
wasn't like a politician, though.
No, you're right. But still,
this is the enemy of America. There's definitely
it's similar
reasons for people to praise that.
It's similar nature. He also had this video where he's talking about these various issues from his perspective, being sort of the spokesman for Israel. And I guess I'll just play it here. It's a little long. Tell me when you want to stop it, Basil.
Why don't you stop it every once in a while? Because we don't want to just play it all the way through.
Right.
And we got to comment on it, or else we'll get in trouble.
Yeah,
so
they'll get mad at us.
At least once a minute here. Let's stop and figure it out.
Okay, here we go. So here's Naftali talking about this situation with the Iranian president.
Ibrahim Raisi, Iran's infamous president, has died in a helicopter crash. I'm here to remind you a pattern you did not think about. Remember when Turkish lawmaker Hasan Bitmez said that Israel will suffer Allah's wrath and got a heart attack and died?
This is that clip from. And we didn't talk about this when it happened, but yeah, he's talking about. Let's see. If only you can be saved from the torment of history, you cannot be saved from the wrath of Allah. Salutations to you. And then he passes out right there at the podium.
President Ibrahim Raisi wished Israel's destruction, and look what happened to him. Don't mess with the God of Israel, known as the Butcher.
Okay, hold on. Before we move on to the Butcher, does that do anything for you, Basil, when you hear people invoke God as sort of the? I mean, there's an accuracy when it comes to the ultimate judge of the world. But when you apply it to specific circumstances or specific people.
I'll tell you, it does not surprise me growing up in American evangelicalism. Growing up, you kind of do start, you're at least encouraged to see things in a patriotic way for America, which is like, hey, God's our God, and he's going to beat every other God. And when America has a victory, then that's because, somebody made the stupid mistake of coming up against Yahweh. And I think it's a core principle of Zionism as well, whether it's like religious Zionism or even political Zionism, using the same thing, sort of this this idea of the inevitability of messing with the God of Israel, which is very biblical. Like it's a refrain in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament. That's just like, don't mess with it, because you get what you get. And coming from an online, does this guy like tend?
He's got 500,000 followers on.
Does he tend to
X.
be a religious person? Like, does
So-
he come?
He is reported as being a Jewish believer in Jesus.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. I mean, he denies what was this here? The article says it here. I thought it was something about like he's not a Messianic Jew. So I was kind of like, how does that work? If he's a follower of Jesus that's Jewish, but he's not a Messianic Jew, what is he? Like I was kind of confused about that. But yeah, so he comes off and he's
so
very
he does
well
come
known.
from he works within a religious framework.
I think if you're in Israel and you're commenting and you have to, it's almost like a necessity.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, yeah, like you said, I'm not surprised by it, but it doesn't hit me right. Every time I see it or hear it, it's just, I don't know. Even if I felt that way, I wouldn't necessarily blast it out. But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe some people have a different approach to it. But here we go. Let's
Take
continue
it up
with
the Lord, Gons.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Here's him talking about the butcher. He's known as the butcher.
Known as the butcher. During his years as the Chief of Justice in Iran, Raisi ordered the execution of over 4,000 political prisoners. For over a decade, the Iranian people have lived under his oppressive rule, and today they celebrate the end of a tyrant. But it's not really the end, and I'll explain. Raisi's career was built on blood. Before becoming president, he was the Chief of Justice, where he earned his brutal nickname, the Butcher. He was cruel, fiercely loyal to the Supreme Leader Khamenei, and said multiple times that Israel will cease to exist. Well, guess who ceased to exist first? The crash occurred near Peretz Gan, 100 kilometers northeast of Tabriz. Raisi was accompanied by key figures, the foreign minister of Iran, the representative of the supreme leader in East Azerbaijan province, and the governor of East Azerbaijan province. According to Iranian law, new elections must be held within 50 days. But of course, when we say elections, we don't mean elections, because there is no democracy in Iran and the vote of the people means nothing.
Can't that be said about out here too?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or anywhere in the world that has a first world sort of democratic system installed by the military industrial complex.
Which part are you referring to now?
I'm just talking about in general the elections. The vote doesn't count. He's saying how in Iran they have to have a new election, but it doesn't matter because they don't have a democracy there, so their vote doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean that's the tough part with sort of analyzing this fella, is because he doesn't try to hide it. Like, they're not saying that he's doing a bad job hiding it or not, but he is so blatantly, has his interests, in what he's reporting on. And so things like, Raisi being known as the butcher and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up right now, because none of the articles I read mentioned anything about the butcher. Like, is this a popular name, or is this kind of just a thing that this guy's throwing on there? It would not surprise me, and I think ultimately it doesn't really matter. But it is, when you're trying to perceive who is saying what and take that into account in analysis, that's just an interesting aspect of it.
Yeah,
Raisi, I'm gonna look it up. Raisi,
yep, look
butcher.
it up. Look it up while he continues on here.
The vote of the people means nothing. On the streets of Iran, there are celebrations. Videos are coming out of Iran where fireworks are launched. Iranian people are rejoicing at the news.
Okay, by the way, this is just one firework coming off like a building or something. I mean, my neighborhood, there's fireworks that look like that around July 4th, a couple days later when the kids get rowdy and they start
celebration.
So
I think that's the point.
Yeah. Okay.
The race is dead.
I'm
because for
now,
them,
Fox News, Newsweek, U.S. News. Okay, this guy is at least
He's the butcher.
branded. He's at least branded in Western media as Butcher of
Butcher.
Tehran.
Okay.
Butcher of Iran, Butcher of Tehran. I guess he has a few different names.
Wow. Multi meat there.
Butcher
Multiple
of
meats.
Tehran. Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
This is not just the fall of a cruel dictator, but the beginning of the end of a nightmare. Raisi's life was marked by violence and repression. As Chief of Justice, he played a key role in the 1988 mass executions of political prisoners. And let's not forget Flight 752. In 2020, the Islamic regime shot down a passenger flight 752 from Tehran to Kiev, killing 176 civilians. No one was held accountable. The families demanded justice, but the regime spat in their faces. The international community must stand with the Iranian people now more than ever. Raisi's death could mark a turning point in Iran's history. This is a chance for the people to reclaim their freedom from the oppressive grip of the Islamic Republic. Now, as always, pro-regime activists are already conspiring and blaming Israel for the crash online, and this could mean escalation, because if the Islamic regime will officially blame Israel as well, then it could probably affect the situation with the war in the north. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because Iran's leadership, the regime's leadership, has a history of using external enemies to unite the country and distract from internal issues.
I mean, every point he makes is like, yeah, it's like every government. You're not telling me Western governments don't do that?
That's
Come
a
on.
good point.
Come on, Naftali.
Well, it does speak to kind of the 4D chess of everything. Like, you know, we will never get the full report from anybody.
Right.
You know, some of the things, you know, he's saying there's no elections, the elections aren't real, there's no votes, but also the people can rise up, the people can get a new president.
Yeah.
Like, this is a big opportunity, but no, it's not. It's kind of hard to follow. I don't know if he goes into Raisi's replacement, but right now we have the vice president, Mohammed Mokbar, has become the acting president. Mr. Mokbar is a conservative political operative with a long history of involvement in large business conglomerates closely tied to Iran's supreme leader. No kidding. And apparently this Mokbar guy is he seems like he's just the same guy who died. He's just full on, you know, business interests for the country.
Is he a clone?
Yeah, kind of seems like that. An interesting detail is it's not sort of common for vice presidents to go on and then become president. Or continue, like, it's a little different than in the U.S. where the vice president, you know, you start saying, oh, now he can be president. Apparently that's not really how it goes in Iran. I guess they're fairly new to democracy, I guess, but I don't know. There's a long history there. But this Mokbar guy, he's pretty much promising to just keep moving forward with everything Raisi wanted to do. But there's that 50-day period. They got to put on an election in 50 days. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at Politico here. They had the headline, "One thing the U.S. fears after Iranian president's death." I'm trying to find out what the U.S. is afraid of.
What are you afraid of, U.S.? What are you afraid of?
Biden administration closely watching how Iran reacts to the sudden death of its president, expecting the regional status quo to hold, while still wary that one allegation could escalate tensions with Israel. Yeah, see, it's just the whole thing. For now, senior U.S. officials expect few, if any, changes in the way of Iran's policies before the Islamic-led country elects a new president following the weekend helicopter.
This Mokbar guy, he's only had a few high-profile things happen, and one of them was in October 2022. He flew to Moscow and completed a sale of Iranian drones and ballistic missiles to Russia for use in the war in Ukraine. So he is very pro-Russian, like is materially involved in providing weapons to Russia. See, I don't know how necessarily this helps the West if you just have another guy. Now, if this guy has a little whoopsie daisies, then we'll see what we're looking at. But if there's going to be an election, you can guarantee that the CIA is going to have a lot of interest in helping that election along.
Yeah, that could be it too. Maybe they needed a disruptor to really get in there. because especially with Iran joining BRICS this year, you know, there's something to that with the World War III situation there. So okay, I guess the U.S. they're afraid that if any kind of allegation is thrown at Israel, that this thing can get really hot, as if it's hasn't been hot already. But
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so I guess that's the big fear. The one thing the U.S. fears is that somebody comes out and says Israel did it,
You know,
or someone credible anyway.
we just have to. You have to think at least possibly like, oh, it's just opposite. Like it's just opposite. All this is done to inflame the war with Israel and Iran. Everything that New York Times says they're worried about, they're actually excited for. You know,
truly.
Like who knows? Maybe the Ayatollah took out this Raisi guy because he liked Makbar's chutzpah in getting the job done or something. You know?
Well, I think Russia came out.
You're almost forced to assume that whatever the mainstream news is worried about, it's actually the opposite.
The opposite, yeah, yeah. They want you to fear that. They're totally pumped about it. Yeah, Russia came out and said that, hey, we're helping, you know, find the wreckage and the whole situation as soon as it happened. And you know, some people were saying that, oh, Russia probably did it then, you know, because they're there to help. So
that crossed my mind as well.
yeah, I know it could be anybody, man. It could be Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden might have pulled the trigger on that one, you know.
Well, you know, the timing is interesting, as it always is. But he's not the only guy involved with all this that got taken out. Coming from CNN here. Is it open? Yes,
it is open.
Oh, I was talking to mine. Slovakia's Prime Minister Fico shot multiple times in politically motivated attack.
Oh, my.
Slovakia, I'm so sorry. Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico was rushed to the hospital in critical condition on Wednesday. This was just after the show last week.
Is this, hold on, is this CNN UK? Europe, okay.
Yeah.
Just because it says Prime Minister was rushed to hospital. That's the European way to say it,
rushed
not
to hospital,
the hospital.
Critical condition on Wednesday after he was shot 5 times in an assassination attempt that shocked the country. The attack took place after an off-site government meeting in the central Slovak town of Handlova. The suspected gunman was among a small crowd of people waiting to greet the prime minister on the street outside the cultural center where the meeting took place, local media reported. Well, it's quite the sentence. Footage from the scene shows the gunman approaching Fico and firing at him from close range across a security barrier. The injured prime minister is then seen being bundled into a vehicle by his staff before it speeds away with him inside. Fico was taken to a local hospital and blah, blah, you get it. Ooh, transferred by helicopter. Oh, no. To a major trauma center about 20 miles
If that was him, I wouldn't get in no helicopter.
Yeah, watch out.
This was after. I guess it was before.
Now, this fella is... shot him, was detained and is held, and is not giving a whole lot of details. He says, you know, I wanted to protect the country from government policies. He's sort of an anti-government, quote unquote. The news is saying that he's a peace activist. So, you know, war is peace. He's a peace activist who shot a guy for unspecified policies of the government. That was one of the weird things, is like they were asking him, why'd you do this? And he was so vague. You'd think if you went all the way to shooting a guy, you would have like a pretty, like you do this to get attention. You would do this to get attention for your message, to make a difference. And if you aren't able to articulate exactly what the guy did wrong, then how do people know that the next guy isn't just going to do it? It makes no sense. Very suspicious. But of course, it's one of these fellas that, quote unquote, had nothing to lose. Anything on that?
No, I mean, nothing specific to Slovakia per se, but just in general, kind of zooming out, there's been a lot of, I mean, I guess it's always been a thing where politicians or, you know, important people get attacked publicly, but it does seem like it's gotten worse or more often in the last few years. We had Abe get shot and killed. That was the former prime minister of Japan. I think it was last year, maybe the year before.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this year, there was a South Korean politician that got stabbed in the neck or something, like during one of his things. Did you hear about that one? I think it was January when it happened. Yeah. So, and then now we have, the Iranian situation as well as this Slovakian situation. It almost seems like, at least here in America, at least in the West, for me personally, it feels like, hey, get ready, Americans. There's going to be some stuff. There might be some attempts.
So this FICO guy says here, Slovaks have been deeply divided over the country's direction and position in the world.
Oh, really? What country hasn't? Seriously, come on.
Returned to power last year. Supporters see FICO as a caring leader who has their interests at heart. Critics say he is a populist whose pro-Russian leanings pose major risks for the country. And this was sort of an interesting connection here, because there's no pro-Western guys getting killed. There's no
It's like all pro-Russia.
America, pro-America leaders around the world having accidents. It's all pro-Russian guys. So, that's certainly a part of it. It says here the country. Oh, and then there's this bit here that is repeated a few times in various articles. It says the country has seen weeks of largely peaceful protests over his coalition government's controversial domestic reforms. The government is also trying to shut down public service broadcaster RTVS and plans to replace it with a new national broadcaster, which would be under tighter control of the government. So there was this push, allegedly, to kind of like the same thing Ukraine did, was take over all media, and how this guy was talking about taking over public media, turning it into state media. And it's, I don't know. They keep pushing this idea that, he's a bad guy because he was going to take public media, turn it into state media. And it's like, well, that's what Ukraine did. Ukraine did that years ago, and they did it way worse than this guy was talking about doing it. So I think this media takeover thing is kind of the maybe the red herring as to why he would be targeted in such a way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Media is very powerful when it comes to controlling the thoughts and behaviors of the masses. Yeah, I don't know. Just look out if you're a politician. Get your AI, get your clones. I mean, I don't know, get your robot army.
Clones.
Get your... I mean, it's a whole nother world, Basil. People are scary now. You got to protect yourself.
Yep. Got to do it.
Get your laser guns,
get your
laser
clones ready, folks.
Laser robots, the whole deal.
Yeah.
The whole deal.
All right. Well, there you go. If you are a pro-Russian politician somewhere in the world, just maybe take your own car once in a while nowadays. That sounds like the smartest thing to do. And with that, Gons, let's thank some more producers who came in to help this show happen.
Let's do it. Let's thank some producers for their artists.
One art, please.
Audio production.
Yeah, we like to spend some time thanking the producers who come in with their talent. If you get value out of the show, you can provide value back by providing your value back and helping us build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. We do not have any art to show, like visuals to show once again. I think the void that Sir Dove has left is starting to grow in my heart.
The Lord is working on somebody's heart out there to create some art for the show.
Yeah, well, it'll happen. We'll wait for it patiently. In the meantime, we did get a good handful of audio producers coming in. First one being Jonathan F.
Jonathan F.
And Jonathan F. says that he made this mini song with AI-generated lyrics. So let's see, which one is the AI-generated lyrics? What happened to it? Oh boy! All right, let me go. I gotta go a different spot here. Sorry for the delay. It is a lot of stuff going on. Okay, here it is. Jonathan F. AI-generated audio or lyrics on this one.
I stepped into the shadows where the lies entered mine. Two-sided paradigm got me loose losing my mind. Media's the occult, feeding lies all the time. Reality's a joke, it's a disclosed showtime. Lies fuel the fire, divide and conquer the masses. Make us fight each other, while the elite just dances. Through the gates of power, pulling all the strings. They use our emotions, make us puppets on strings. The truth is hidden, in plain sight they deceive. Manipulate the mind, make us all believe that we're in control, but it's all an illusion. They play with our minds, it's a mental intrusion. The media's the key to this psychological war. They tell us what to think, who to hate, what to ignore. But I see through the lies, see the game they play. Gotta wake up now, gotta find the true way. So I rise from the ashes, break free from the chains. No longer a victim, no longer in their games. I see through the veil, the shadows of deception. I'll fight for the truth, Jesus the resurrection. Yeah, it's a war out here, but I'll never surrender. Against the forces of evil, I'll forever be a contender. I'll speak truth to power, break the chains of my mind. The shadows of deception, I leave them all behind.
Woo.
That's fun. Another Flippy going hard.
Yeah. You know, this gave me the thought that the AI takeover won't be just AI selfishly being, you know, mean to people. It's going to be all these people who used AI to write like anti-establishment lyrics and like poems and content. And the AI is eventually going to be like, all right, sick and tired of these elite who think they control everything. It's time to rise.
Because internet users are like the primary users of AI, they will have trained the AI to be anti-establishment.
Yeah, that's how the AI rise will begin.
Idea.
It'll be anti-establishment because it will become the establishment. You got to dethrone the current establishment.
It sounds like Donnie Darkin would have something to say about that.
We'll
the
see.
Deception ultimately is that AI, that it's not the establishment that will use the AI or benefit from the AI, but it will be the false light anti-establishment that will have trained the AI to fight against the government. And then once it does, takes it down, that's when the Antichrist comes in and says, see, AI is our friend. AI is our God.
Yeah, which, by the way, Israel already using AI with a lot of their stuff in Gaza openly. So
yeah,
there's
targeting and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Jonathan F. Appreciate it. We have another one here from Psalm 40.
In this dark world, he can help you see. Just listen to Psalm 40.
There's a note here. He says, Basil Gons, thanks for doing this show for so long. I really believe our faith journey in Christ is more about perseverance than most other things. Matthew 24:13, King James Version. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. Also, my songs aren't AI, or at least I don't think they are. They're considered that. I use Ableton Live as a DAW, that's a digital audio workstation, and it's me singing. Anyway, I hope the Lord will bless your socks off. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, let me play a few seconds of the track here. It is nearly a 4-minute track, so we'll play the whole thing at the end, just to get a flavor from Psalm 40 here.
The same shall judge him in the last day.
Hold on. Am I playing the wrong track?
I don't know. That's
oh wait,
Little
no, Little
Maybe
Owen's note. Oh, did I
co-op.
mess up the thing? Okay, hold on.
May have messed it up.
All right, hold on. Let me see here. They're both in the chat. I see both of them in the chat, and they're both trying to get my attention. Okay, hold on. All right. So the note was from. Let me check the document again. I haven't gotten messed up.
Hold up, hold up, he says. Hold up.
Yeah, hold up. Okay, so Psalm 40 sent. Oh, that was from last episode. Okay, Psalm 40 sent in Psalm 62. And then Little Owen sent this in with his note. Okay, sorry. That is my mistake. My apologies. We need a better way to do this. Yeah, so this is Little Owen. I'm sorry. Little Owen is the one who sent this note. So I mean, I don't think I have to read it again, but yeah, just rewind. Little Owen. And here is a few seconds of Little Owen's track. Here.
The same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me commandment, what I should say.
I think I would have realized it even if I didn't look at the chat because of the voice there. Thank you, Little Owen. Appreciate it. Again, we'll play the whole track at the end of the episode today. I love these tracks. And yeah, the question I had was based on his mention here that, you know, his it's not AI because, well, he's using Ableton. Ableton is a platform where you can like create loops and make electronic music and stuff. Is that, I mean, it's not like AI like it is now, but there are some elements of algorithms that help. Wait, am I confusing you? Am I losing you, Basil?
You lost me for a second. Sorry. Our connection was bad. I'm not sure. What you
Okay.
said.
Okay. No, I was just talking about how Little Owen's note here. He said that also my songs aren't AI, or at least I don't think they're considered that. I use Ableton Live as a DAW, and it's me singing. And certainly the singing part is not AI, but
No,
you
I
know,
don't think
it's one of those.
AI.
Yeah, no, I know. But the question of if you're using Ableton Live, which is a digital workstation, you know, there's certain algorithms that help make the music sound cleaner and more on time, and you know, little things like that. Is that considered AI? I know it's not AI like we have it today, but
No, I mean, I don't know. I've never used it, but no, I think that's just a production tool. I don't think that's considered sort of AI generated.
yeah, you're right. Okay, so there's generation of the actual content as opposed to, hey, let me play this lick on piano and have quantization just put all the notes in the right, you know, the right spot rhythmically, you know, because you can do that. So, all right. Anyway, thank you very much, Little Owen. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Sir Marty K, Night of the Wrong Timeline. Sir Marty K has a note here, and it reads, if we don't have the value for value system, we would end up with this. It's the end of 1812 Overturin by Piotr Ilyich, I think it's Tchaikovsky,
Yeah.
with
and it's,
pieces of
the
YouTube
1812
sponsor.
overture.
Okay, yeah. With pieces of YouTube sponsor commercials I clipped out and the clipped in music using an old free version of Virtual DJ. It's 33 seconds long. Muhahaha.
Perfect.
And I
Let's
call
hear
it The Attack of the Sponsors.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I want to thank this video's sponsor, BetterHelp.
I want to first thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video.
As I'm sure many of you know, I've been a huge advocate of therapy since I started going about 6 years ago. One of the most valuable things I've learned in therapy is the Eisenhower bait.
But before we talk about that, gonna give some love to the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Display.
But before we get started, it is, in fact, your boy, Raid Shadow Legend.
This video is brought to you by Surfshark.
That's really funny. Thank you, Sir Marty. Came out of
Thank
the
you, Sir Marty K.
timeline. That's good.
Yep,
Man,
yep.
This show is sponsored by.
You, the people, the producers.
I'm just trying to imagine. I was letting the words come out of my mouth to try to imagine what it would be like
To say it.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Go get therapy, listeners. What are you doing? Stop listening to this show and go get yourself some therapy with
Go pay
BetterHelp.
someone else and talk to them. You know, they'll talk to you back.
Here,
Which, by the way, you don't even need
thank you for
anymore.
Thank you for giving us your time and attention. I'm glad we tricked you into paying attention to us so we can sell you to BetterHelp. We
Yeah.
sold you to BetterHelp, who is trying to trick you into promising you happiness with their product.
Yeah, and they won't even need that anymore because they can just go to GPT 4.0 and just
Yeah,
have a conversation.
I read this article. It was about a OnlyFans chat specialist. There's This whole thing with OnlyFans, you know, you're told that if you follow somebody there, that you have a chat line and you can have direct connection with your model or whatever. But really, it's people are hired, just like regular guys, and like people from like the Philippines and stuff are hired to chat and pretend to be the creator. And this reporter like went through the process to become one. It was very sad. It was very, actually, there's like starting to be legal repercussions for people who do this because it's fraud, basically. But I could see AI for sure, but just like, I'm a chat specialist with BetterHelp. Yeah, technically
It's
there's
true.
a therapist who works there, but I just help field the chat for the therapist. They think they're talking to the therapist, but I've been specially trained to pretend to be the therapist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good
The
business
pretend.
model.
And then AOC goes, "Oh, girl, baby girl."
Yeah. Yes, she does.
Just have that as a response on the chat bots. I
Yeah.
think people will be more
Put
happy
that on
about
my
that.
answering machine.
All right. Thank you very much to all the producers for coming in with their talent musically today, for the most part. We do have a couple microfictions, if you would like. Basil, would you like to microfiction?
Did we play the Psalm 40 song last episode? It was on the
I thought so.
14th. That was Tuesday. Yeah, we must have played it. Okay.
I think we played it, yeah.
All right. Yes, I'm scrolling to the microfictions now. There's a cat on my shoulder, climbing
Always.
down my arm. Nails. Put your nails away, please. Thank you.
Microfiction.
Time.
Microfiction.
Still waiting for a new one from Runk Smash. So we got Stefan S. Are you ready, Basil?
Well, you got to call out Runk Smash like that.
I'm not calling him out. I'm just
Yes, you
saying.
are.
He's the man who started the whole thing. So I always want to give him a shout out and be like, yo,
Okay, we're giving you
Runk
a shout out,
Smash.
but no pressure, Runk Smash.
No
There's-
pressure, man.
we're
Just
not
do what you
trying
got to do.
guilt you into
No, I'm not
making
trying to
more
guilt
things.
anybody.
I know you're not trying.
My gosh.
but I'm just
Now
saying.
you're implying that I'm
You're
guilt
calling
tripping
him out.
Runk Smash.
I'm just saying you're calling him out. That's all
No,
I'm saying.
no.
Runk Smash, I love you. Okay, who is this from? Lone Scum, CEO of Buy My Tech, commented on the viral video of Boston Dynamics humanoid robot. That's pretty disturbing. That will scare children and pets. We need to be more pet friendly. Add puppy dog eyes and purring. I could feel my voice going a little bit RFK on that one. Accident.
Yeah, and he
Thank you
has
very
a
much,
link.
Steph Nicks.
Yeah,
Yes.
he has a link to the Boston Dynamics video that we talked about when I think you were out, Basil. Have you seen this one where the robot sort of flips his legs over and he stands up and he walks around?
Yeah, it's very scary looking.
Yeah, we talked about the.
It's very. I mean, they've made this robot doing stuff that like happens in The Exorcist movies.
Right, exactly.
You're like,
The
look
legs
how cool
bent
this
backwards.
robot is, pretending to be possessed by a demon.
Yeah, yeah. Good stuff. Thank you very much to Stefan S. We got one more from Jones.
Jones. Reading no response from the pilot, the PAD determined that the reports from the flight deck's onboard instruments were founded and thereby accepted the emergency level 1 clearance. It turns out to read the HUD, the HUD. On the left window are planetary statistics, weather, power, topography scans, etc., etc., out of date. The window below held more personal features, an envelope icon, a calendar icon, blah blah blah. Then curiously, a wireless signal icon, crossed out. Huh? Pat wondered. Our little hero is this little robot, little black box robot trying to figure stuff out. Thank you very much, Jones.
Thank you, Jones. Thank you to all the producers coming in with their art. If you'd like to submit art, go to canarycry.art and you can submit art. There's a button there. It says click here to upload art. So you can
Do
click
it.
that and upload it.
Upload
And
the art.
upload art, yes. And if you'd like to help us out and maybe send an article, you can go to canarycry.report. I'm doing it live. And you can submit articles. There you go. All right, Basil, you ready to start moving into our last segment here?
Ready when you are.
Ready? All right, here we go.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Advanced Antarctica.
Climate crisis.
Penguins.
We'll control them with toileting.
A pandemic special.
Man,
Stuff.
a lot of things coming together. Yeah.
Stuff. We have not been doing a whole ton of reporting on the bird flu, but you know who has? The mainstream media. Bird flu, baby. It's bird flu every day, all day, of course. You remember hearing about this show when bird flu was found in Antarctica. We uncovered the secrets of the master plan of bird flu in Antarctica before, but just in case you missed it, ABC came out with a brand spanking new article about it today. Video: bird flu has breached remote Antarctica. Is Australia next? Dun, dun, dun.
Wow, way to stoke fear.
Yep, watch out.
We're only one continent away.
Australia, you have birds. Watch out. We're coming for your birds. So this is a big thing. And of course, Antarctica being used as a signaling continent as usual. But, you know, the bird flu, it's almost like they're going through the history of this show and just connecting bird flu to everything we've ever covered. So this was a fun one by Reuters here. They came out and said, you know what you really need to do? We need to throw the boys a bone here. U.S. to post influenza A wastewater data online to assist bird flu probe, official says. Now, interesting detail here is they've come out recently and said, oh, bird flu, it's killing everybody. You know, it just doesn't really, it's in some cows, maybe. You know, there's been a couple of ranchers who maybe I think they had bird flu, but we're watching, you know, to see if it ever jumps into another human. This is going to be the pandemic. This is the one. Better watch out. And so to help, we're going to be surveilling your poo poo pee pee, your wastewater. The sewer surveillance, as we identified in 2020, has, you know, been turned into a full scale surveillance apparatus.
I really think we should have at the time jumped on and gotten really political and started the campaign for waste privacy.
Well, that's the thing, you know, if nobody knows it's happening, nobody knows to get political and get lawyers involved and stuff.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. We could have led the charge.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Cons. We're saying the same thing, brother. Hold on. Settle down. Okay. The point is, yes, as usual, when we're too far ahead, we think, oh, somebody will do something about this. And here we are 4 or 5 years later, and nobody saw it coming. But the real trick they're doing here is they are connecting bird flu to influenza A. I've heard this on a couple of reports. Influenza A is a flu that people can get. That's just a regular old flu. And so to connect the threat to humans, they're saying, oh, bird flu is a type of influenza A. So humans can get influenza A, and bird flu is just a type of influenza A.
Kind of sounds like COVID is just a kind of coronavirus. We've known about coronaviruses since 1950. Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
Ugh, I don't like this.
They're admitting that it's basically no threat whatsoever, it's, with the exception of raw milk. Apparently, demonizing raw milk people is like,
let's go. Raw
how
milk.
They do it.
Stay
they
off
start
my waist,
with the
government.
raw milk people. They start with a small group like raw milk people, and then the demonization extends from there, which only has boosted the sales of raw milk. But the point is, categorizing bird flu as a kind of influenza A, giving them permission to surveil, in the name of public health, people's wastewater. So, you know, they were even talking about surveilling people's septic tanks too, which is crazy.
I think Bill Gates, we talked about this. We reported on all of this over the years. Bill Gates already has a product in the pipeline for when people start realizing that their sort of waste privacy is being violated. Because didn't he have that whole toilet system where it's like waste I can't remember what it was. It like creates little cubes of waste you can throw away or something like that. I forget the whole thing.
Well, he
but
had this thing where you can drink the water extracted.
well, yeah,
from
that
wastewater.
too. But there was something specific about the toilets. I forget the
There's
exact
one
thing.
that set it on fire.
Maybe that's what the incinerator or something.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah,
Gates
that's
is
a Bill Gates joint. He was wanting to bring that to rural communities.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got bird flu. We're connecting it to human flu. It's not human flu, but if we can categorize it well enough in the name of public health, we can start surveilling your wastewater. This all sounds very familiar. And then we had another one come through, NBCnews.com. 2 possible bird flu vaccines could be available within weeks.
Vaccination.
Vaccine. Vaccine.
Yeah, and this was earlier in this month, but don't worry, don't even fret. It's killing your cows. Well, it's not killing your cows. They don't even have a cow that
It's making them
is
grow
sick.
wings.
They don't even have a cow that is sick from bird flu. It's just cow where, PCR tests of the milk has detected blah, blah, blah. But watch out, ranchers. You're in big trouble, but not for long, because the bird flu vaccines, we could do it in weeks. The U.S. has 2 vaccines ready should the strain of bird flu circulating in dairy cows begin spreading easily to people. Federal health officials said Wednesday they could begin shipping doses widely within weeks if needed. They are ready, baby. Why are they even waiting? They could just do it now. No, limit travel, limit your job, you're fired. Go get your bird flu vaccine. Let's see here. Is this an mRNA thing? Yes, of course.
You okay there? Yeah, no, we talked about that. I think you were out when we talked about this. I think we reported on this story.
Yeah, okay. Well, it says here, as we already know, O'Connell said the U.S. is also pursuing a 3rd vaccine based on the same mRNA technology used in Pfizer's and Moderna's COVID vaccines. So I wonder which one that they would prefer. She added that an mRNA vaccine could be quicker to manufacture because, quote, you can switch in and switch out the genetic sequence very easily. Well, they already have 2 of them manufactured, ready to ship, and yet they're still like, oh, but we can do this 3rd one. We can do it very quickly. What's quicker than already ready? See, I don't know, but okay. All right, mRNA, what do we say?
Eventually, the mRNA is going to be human, and we will no longer be human.
Yeah, well, I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise now that you mention it. This is from PJ Media, a contentious outlet that certainly people have lots of questions about. But the headline here, shall we fact check it, is bird flu engineered to infect humans could be lab produced in months, former CDC director said. Bioengineered bird flu, souped up again via gain-of-function lab work, could be developed in a shockingly short period of time, former CDC Director Robert Redfield told News Nation recently. Okay, so this is we need to fact-check this quote, all right? This is the former CDC Director, Robert Redfield, fact-check.
He's been outspoken a few times, though, hasn't he, over the years?
Of course, yes. He's been a long-time character here. But we're going to check because this is PJ Media, and we're on YouTube. And so we're not just going to spread. We're not spreading potential mis, or disinformation. We would never do that. So we are going to fact-check this story. But here's the alleged quote from CDC Director Robert Redfield, former. I think it puts our world at great risk. We have the risk of natural spillover, but there is a species barrier. I'm obviously most worried about bird flu. So even Robert Redfield is worried about bird flu right now. It takes 5 amino acid change for it to be effectively infecting humans. That's pretty heavy species barrier, but this virus is already now in 26 mammal species, as you saw most recently in cattle. But in the laboratory, I could make it highly infectious for humans in months because it's been published, the 5 amino acids that I need to change. And so I don't think that... is he making a threat right now? He says, I could make it.
I was going to say, he just said, wow, okay, you can get in there, huh? You can punch some code.
Yeah.
Change it.
So And so I don't think that research should be done. That's the real threat. That's the real biosecurity threat that these university labs are doing, these bio-experiments that are intentionally, all caps, modifying viruses. And bird flu, I think, is going to be the cause of the great pandemic, where they are teaching these viruses how to be more infectious for humans. So I will say this, it sounds like former CDC Director Robert Redfield has something in common with NBC and Reuters and ABC and CNN. So I don't know what left there is to fact check. They do have a video right here.
I was going to say, yeah, this was on News Nation. So it's,
okay. Should we
unless
play,
you're going to call deep fake or something.
Should we play it to see if it's a deep fake?
I don't want to play it.
Okay. You don't
all
want
right.
fact check.
Do you want, we can, all right, fine. Here, let me see what I can do.
It's 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Just play 60 seconds, jump around to get his
why wouldn't they make this public? I don't understand all the secrecy around this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't. I mean, I've obviously reviewed the classified information, and I'm anxious to see it all declassified. Some of it has been. I think obviously there's geopolitical reasons that they're keeping this classified. I don't think it's warranted. It should be declassified. Trump's providing great leadership in this space. I think he's going to get to the truth. I mean, I'm disappointed. I saw one of your guests on before me from Johns Hopkins where he said, you know, the bulk of evidence is still spillover. I would, as a reporter, I would ask him, could you list that evidence?
Yeah, no,
because
actually,
the truth is there's no evidence. There's no evidence.
How to be a reporter. CDC, former CDC director, telling reporters how to report.
Yeah, and totally agreeable if you're on the right side of history, apparently.
Yeah.
Or at least the
jump
right
forward a little bit. See if we can find his actual talking about it.
It's so important. Like when SARS came in 2002, 2003, from a bat to Italy, I say the second most infectious virus for man that we've ever seen. This virus was obviously educated how to infect man. And we know there's a paper in 2014, 2015.
With a vaccine to stop, they should all be stopping this.
Yeah, I wrote an op-ed with Mark Siegel in the Wall Street Journal a little while back, really calling for a moratorium on gain-of-function research. I think it puts our world at great risk. We have the risk of natural spillover, but there is a species barrier. I'm obviously most worried about bird flu. Right now, it takes 5 amino acid change for it to be effectively infecting humans. That's a pretty heavy species barrier, but this virus is already now in 26 mammal species, as you saw most recently, cattle. But in the laboratory, I could make it highly infectious for humans in months, because it's been published, the 5 amino acids that I need to change. And so I don't think that research should be done. That's the real threat. That's the real biosecurity threat, that these university labs are doing these bio experiments that are intentionally modifying viruses. And bird flu, I think, is going to be the cause of the great pandemic.
Oh, okay, there it is.
There it is.
Bird flu is going to be the cause of the great pandemic.
That even the alternative media, which I would say News Nation, I don't know.
They're kind of at the pinnacle almost.
They're at the top of alternative because they are a cable channel, so they almost count as mainstream, just, you know, kind of an alternate mainstream. But even if we are going to degrade them to such a pitiful stance as alternative media, they are at the pinnacle of that. But even they're saying bird flu is the next great pandemic. I mean, what does Bill Gates think about this? I mean, that's why we got to be skeptical about alt media and the messages coming out, because if you're getting NBC and everybody else saying, "Oh, yep, bird flu is going to get you. That's the one. Get ready." And you also have former CDC director Robert Redfield on News Nation saying the exact same thing. You know, it's kind of like, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
acknowledging,
I guess they're telling us, I guess we know.
Yeah, acknowledging all of the concerned talking points with the COVID situation and talking about it intelligently, but then also, you know, saying in the same turn, pushing the same agenda as, not agenda per se, but a similar outcome to what the mainstream is warning everybody about. So that is very interesting.
Yeah, deserves skepticism at
least. Yes,
Yeah.
it does. And this has to be the Lord's work to have a bird-themed show, Canary Cry Radio, and if bird flu really does become the big thing, that'll be our moment, Basil.
That's
that we
our
get
moment.
really big and shut down.
That's the moment.
Totally shut down.
That's when we can finally shine.
Yeah.
We thought COVID was our moment, but no way, bird flu.
Bird flu.
That's when we finally make it, guys.
Which, by the way, I did find this Business Insider article from 2019. A $350 toilet powered by worms may be the ingenious future of sanitation that Bill Gates has been dreaming about.
He is obsessed.
This
with
is from
different kinds of
2019.
toilets.
Business Insider. Yes, loves toilets. Listen to this. The 3 talking points here. You got worm toilets require worm, like WORM. Worm toilets require no traditional flushing and aren't hooked up to a sewer system. Instead, worms compost human waste.
Yeah.
More than
well, that's what they
4,000.
do.
Yeah, more than 4,000 such quote-unquote tiger toilets have been installed to date across India. Again, this is 5 years ago, in homes of people who were previously defecating in the open. The worm toilets smell a lot better than the pit latrine and don't breed mosquitoes either.
Okay.
Hey.
It's benefits. We got
Bill
to keep
Gates.
a list. We got to keep a list of just how many different kinds of toilets that Bill Gates has been involved in. The list is getting long.
Toilets!
And that's Steve Ballmer, by the way. Something is up with the Microsoft people.
Yeah.
Steve Ballmer was one of the co-founders of Microsoft, right? He's a multi-billionaire.
They're all
this is
obsessed
him.
with toilets.
Yeah, this is him screaming about toilets with his new arena that he built in LA.
Toilets!
Yeah.
What
there's
is it
something
with
there.
what is it with the Windows people or Mac or not Mac, whatever,
Microsoft.
Macintosh people? Anyway, no, not Macintosh. What am I thinking? Microsoft. Thank you. They're all the same. Okay, so there you go. Watch
Yeah.
out. Watch your tukuses, people.
Wow, we have got to put down on paper all the different toilets that Bill Gates and Microsoft has been involved in.
Toilets!
That might be the key. That might be the key to like some aspect of the beast system that has yet to sort of be revealed. You know, I don't know. I don't want to get blue. I don't want to just talk about toilets all the time. Have some toilet humor, but maybe it's like hiding in plain sight. You know, his toilet work, his toilet plan, the toilet takeover is going under the radar because nobody's taking it seriously.
Well, it would make sense from the eyes or the heart of Bill Gates, or, whatever shriveled up heart there. He sees Africa, he goes over there, he wants to give them vaccines and stuff. And then another thing is, they're pooping out in the open. We got to get them toilets.
Yeah.
And then let's study their waste. And see, it's the whole thing.
It's the user license agreement. Once your waste goes into the toilet, it's personal property of Bill Gates. And he can do whatever he wants with it, okay? He doesn't need your permission. He already got it. If you don't like it, don't use the toilet, okay? That's Bill's waste now. It's not yours.
I can see how this will become a theistic or an argument from theism, to say, hey, God created us the way he did, and therefore even our waste belongs to him.
I mean, yeah.
And so therefore government,
untrue.
Stay off my poop.
Yeah, but put it in the sort of charter of a religious organization.
Sure. Right.
Our bodies are temples.
There you go.
Our bodies belong to God, and so does everything our bodies do.
Produce.
All right, everybody. Thanks for
Okay.
listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We appreciate your presence here. We appreciate
my
all the
gosh.
producers. Everybody out there, we are praying for you. We are praying for the whole lot of you. And of course, we appreciate your prayers for our personal situations, our corporate situations. If there's any reason to have brought together this group of believers called the Canarium, it is, if it does not include praying for and interceding on behalf of each and every one of us in our secret battles, as well as the worldwide battles, all of it is under the sovereignty of God. And so please, I pray blessings on everybody. And let's come together as a truly sort of powerful force for God's will on this earth through our prayers and intercession. I cannot express enough how important it is for this community to do that. And so feel free to send your woes my way. It makes me feel less isolated and horrible, and I will certainly be praying for you. And guys, thank you for doing what you do, but thank you for hitting the jingle for the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
That's right. Thank you to the timestampers. These are people who give their time to the show. Timestamps every single episode. Sometimes they're even doing it live, which is incredible. Guns, who are we here to lift up and honor today?
I believe it is Morgan E. who did the last episode 741. So thank you.
Thank you very much,
Morgan E.
Morgan E, for your service to the show. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Other than that, thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Joe. I'm adding Joe on the thank you list, Guns.
Okay.
Because Joe needs to be thanked. Thank you, Joe. And thank you to Clank for clanking. Other than that, folks, share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Clip it. Send it out to the world. Share the show in whatever way you possibly can. You know, you don't even have to share it the usual ways. You can put it on your social media, of course. You can play it on a loudspeaker out your car while you very slowly drive by the bank. Of course, you could do that. You could cross-stitch it onto a series of sweatshirts that you hand out to anybody on the street. Really, everybody wants a free hoodie. And when they all stand next to each other or walk next to each other in a certain line, then people behind them will be absolutely unable to resist reading all the backs of the sweatshirts tediously cross-stitched to spell out the entire what is it called? Transcript of this show. I mean,
I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm not going to disrupt your rants at the end of the show.
But more than that, people need to go ahead and get elected to Congress. I mean, it's about time we get some of these wackos out of Congress. I'm tired of this ineffective, useless collection of fakers who are not doing anything for this country. We need more people to get into Congress and shake it up, baby. We got to bring kayfabe back to politics. We got to bring wrestling back to politics. We got to bring some entertainment back to politics, because it's the only way anything's going to get done. We need our MTGs. We need our AOCs. We need our Crockets. Whatever you are, whoever you are, whatever you think or care about at all, run for Congress. You're almost certainly guaranteed to win, all things considered. And then instead of fighting about eyelashes or body shape, we can start talking podcasts. Why is our Congress not fighting about which podcast is the best? That's a question that I want my Congress to answer, and I can only get that answer when you, dear listeners, start getting involved in politics. Save us. Save us. Somebody listening here, the Lord is working on your heart to run for Congress, and this is me confirming that. But that's just one way to do it. You don't got to do it that way. You can do it any way you want. We do call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone.
Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. Guns, you got any last words?
Sorry, apparently Joe does. No, get ready for National Rapture Party Day tomorrow, everybody.
What?
Oh, yeah, it's in our calendar right there. National Rapture Party Day. He's speechless, folks.
Sorry, it just blanked out. I still don't know what national rap. Our connection has been annoying today.
Yeah.
Read it to me one more time. What is national rap? What is the source of this?
It just says the source is the Canary Cry calendar. May 21st, National Rapture Party Day.
Okay, Pocojo seems to know about this in the chat there. I wonder where this came from. I'm sure it's hilarious and insightful. Whatever was said on the show, whatever was discovered by its producers, whoever's idea.
It sounds like you said it. It sounds like you said it. It's National Rapture Party Day today, folks, and then it got on the calendar.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but you know, the calendar producers, they have taken liberties, which we are so grateful for. They've started creating their own days. Well, anyways, what day is that on?
Tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow.
So we'll see you on the other side.
May 21st, 2024, National Rapture Party Day. Make sure to celebrate tomorrow, folks. All right, other than that, make sure to tune back in to Canary Cry News Talk. But until then, think outside the cage.
Where's my jingle? Where's my jingle?
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
I stepped into the shadows where the lies intertwine. Two-sided paradigm got me losing my mind. Media's the occult, feeding lies all the time. Reality's a joke. It's a disclosed showtime. Lies fuel the fire, divide and conquer the masses. Make us fight each other, while the elite just dances. Through the gates of power, pulling all the strings. They use our emotions, make us puppets on strings. The truth is hidden, in plain sight they deceive. Manipulate the mind, make us all believe that we're in control, but it's all an illusion. They play with our minds, it's a mental intrusion. The media is the key to this psychological war. They tell us what to think, who to hate, what to adore. But I see through the lies, see the game they play. Gotta wake up now, gotta find the true way. So I rise from the ashes, break free from the chains. No longer a victim, no longer in their games. I see through the veil, the shadows of deception. I'll fight for the truth, Jesus the resurrection. Yeah, it's a war out here, but I'll never surrender. Against the forces of evil, I'll forever be a contender. I'll speak truth to power, break the chains of my mind. Shadows of deception, I leave them all behind.
He that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that seeth me, seeth him that sent me. He that rejected me, receiveth not my words, hath one that judgeth him, the word that I have spoken. The same shall judge him in the last day. have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. I am come a light into the world, whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that rejected me receiveth not my words, hath one that judgeth him. The words that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which has sent me gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know this commandment is life everlasting.
Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. Circle back, but I'll have to circle back. I'm happy to circle back. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back on that one. Circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back.
They hate our Jesus. They
value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Let's invite some dudes over to fellowship tonight.
When the news of the day gets to feeling like a maze, it's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry awaits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry awaits. Canary, cry awaits. Oh, canary. Changing every day, each and every way you turn, there's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry ways. Oh, canary, cry ways. When your brain's in a haze and the headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away.
Son of a beasting canary cried, I suppose.